There is corruption. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. It's about time to get that special date of the week. Special edition of the closing argument, folks, as you get yourselves on.
There is corruption. Hey.
Do us all a favor and do yourselves a favor. Do due diligence, share the show. Invite somebody, tell somebody else. Closing argument.
Mr. President, hey, our leader.
Mr. President, where are you? The leaders of Liberia, where are you? Corruption is taking over. The folks are saying it. It is not from Lofa Julius.
There is corruption in this world.
We should have mentioned Tomalin George is already in the back. And of course, Dr. Peabody. Coming to you live from the United States of America. And I'm telling you, well relaxed and prepared to bring you this special occasion tonight.
We have corrupt politicians. They loot, they steal.
Corrupt politicians, they loot, they steal, they take away from the people.
Father stress.
Honest State Pay, welcome to the show. Councilor E. Thomas Livingston Jr., welcome to the
Politicians, they eat. Mothers cry, fathers stress. Corrupt politicians, they steal.
Rossland, JJ1G, Otis Barkley.
How we pray enough to rest the pain.
Juj One Way following us far.
Yeah. There is corruption. Yeah. Hey.
And of course, one of our religious follower, honestly paid.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of you for coming on here tonight. Otello Suar.
Hey.
Honorable George Watkins Jr. Folks, we are asking for our government officials, where are you? Corruption is taking over the country. Our leaders, where are you? Johnny Thompson Jr., Terrence Mayway Collins, Dixon Neon. Folks, no matter where you're following us from, we are asking you to do due diligence, share the show. As we get ourselves together, getting ourselves prepared to bring you this special edition of the closing argument. It will be another heated conversation today. Much more revealing than you can ever think about. It's all about the government and her misconception, misbehavior, deception. We're telling you the closing argument. We're bringing you all. Mr. President, where are you? And with that said, folks, we will turn it over to the man, Dr. Peabody himself. He brings the show, he ends the show, and we will turn everything over to him. Dr. Peabody, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
I was enjoying the music. The music was great. I was enjoying it. But guys, Julius, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you on Tuesday, on this Tuesday edition, man. Good to see you, Julius. And
I told Julius, man. Julius got a red voice, man. The guy got the voice.
Yeah, Julius got the radio voice because he was fighting up. The music was the music was fighting.
Julius will do something, right? We'll do something. We'll do
the entertainment night. We'll do an entertainment night.
Julius?
That's a good one. Entertainment night, and people just call in and send a shout out. We could do that.
You know, I was in New Jersey. I was in New Jersey on Sunday at the wedding cookout, and I went live with entertainment night, and man, everybody was just hating the closing acumen. I was just hating it. I said,
I saw that.
We gotta change it to entertainment night. If Judah's in North Carolina, and there is a geek going on, Judah will hit us live from there. You know, just because we're not just focused on the politics, but in other areas we want to blend it as well. You know, people having weddings and stuff like that. Closing acumen want to be part of that, you know, stuff. So I think it will be a very good opportunity, man. You know, so we can just come on and just hit, you know, different music like the one we're playing, and you know, something like that. We want to make it one for everybody to accept it. You know, those who are not involved in politics and stuff. And the bigger we get, we'll bring on gospel. One area I want to really hit is the Liberian government. Who knows their civic, you know, and we'll have to find prizes where we can give people who really answer a good Bible question and stuff like that. You know, good civic question, because a lot of people don't know their own civic in the government. You know, so we want to work on that. But I mean, it was good. So we'll bring the vibe on. We'll play the music. I think we need a thing on a day where we're just gonna hit entertainment night with the closing acumen. It can be from a cookout. It can be from you know, somewhere where Liberians are just, you know, entertaining and fun is, you know, stuff like that.
Just enjoying themselves, right? That's a good idea. But I specifically thought to be on here today because of the conversation and we're about to have. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna be the first in studio today because this is concerning. Because I have a very close friend of mine who said a friend of hers was also a victim of what we will be talking about today. So I said, yeah. Wow. So I said, if no one is in first, I will be one of the first people to.
Man, that's how we do it. Yeah, man. That's how we do it. Who come first, start the show, and roll it on. That's how we do it. Yeah, you know, we're making it first. I see the ladies at the back, but she's not connected yet. The guest.
Is she in the back?
Yeah, but she's not connected. It's a device.
Yeah. Network is still trying to fully establish. There you go.
Now
there you go. Mm-hmm. Now she just got to turn on her camera.
Mm-hmm. Not work. It's not working.
It's okay.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
We can hear you.
How you doing, Miss Bomi? Good to see you.
Hi.
Miss Bomi. Yeah. Welcome to the Closing Acumen. We'll be starting with you shortly. Tomalin will be joining us, guys. It's going to be a fascinating show today. So if you're just making your way, just share it. We got folks watching from all the way Ghana. We got Oliver Sakal. He's watching from Accra, Ghana. Deep Brandel Weeks and others. Pilar Orita Reto. She's watching. She said, Lofa, she said you got a very beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Emmanuel Ma is watching from Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts. So, guys, as you make your way, Miss Bomi is here, and we will be getting into the once Tomalin makes her way, we will be getting into the show. But Miss Bomi, we want to welcome you to the Closing Acumen. Welcome.
Thank you all very much for having me on your platform.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Very welcome. Great to have you on here. Appreciate you for being here. I see Julie K. Rambo. Julie, how are you doing? Are you back in Europe? Wow. Miss Julie Rambo.
Julie, good to see you. I saw Julie in Holland. I believe it was last year when I went to Holland for the Liberian Independence Day celebration. I saw Julie there. Julie, good to see you, man. Good to see you. So welcome to the Closing Acumen, guys. Welcome. We're here. And we're going to bring it to you, live. It's a special edition tonight, so we don't want you to miss this. It's a lot going on. And we have Miss and Dora Bomi. She will be talking to us on something very crucial. So do not go away. Connect your device, connect everything, and then we will start. But it's going to be very
Yeah.
interesting. You will hear some of the things that people do in that country that's almost impossible. And today we're going to be talking about Meta Steel, one of the largest mining company in Liberia, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Tony is here now. Tony, you can hear us?
Yeah, but buddy, I want you to start the show. Started. I was joined just now.
We already here. Miss Bomi is already on. Uh,
Okay.
so we want to begin. Judy, again, good to see you, Miss Bomi. With me is Lofa, the man Julius. He's one of the panelists here on the closing argument. So we'd like to welcome you, and we heard you were coming. We heard you had some concerns, and today we want you to share with us, especially with what's going on with Metal Stew and your husband and all of that. So with that said, I want to give you the opportunity to share with us why you are here and what's going on with your family, especially your family in Liberia.
I'm so sorry that my camera is not coming on, but anyway, I'm happy to participate on your platform. And it's a sad story that brings tears, hardship, and suffering for my entire family. But I'm using this medium to reach out to the public because there are a lot of people that are going through similar incidents and they have no means to speak out on these issues. My husband started working with ArcelorMittal in 2011, the beginning of 2011, as the superintendent of local government affairs. He was the liaison between the company and local government officials, the senators, representatives, town chiefs, superintendent, and the rest. And he was happy that he had a position that he could serve the people of Nema and at the same time make contributions towards the growth and development of Liberia. After working for the company, I don't want to take so much time,
Take
for
your time. Take your time. Take your time.
10 years, he had some headaches at the beginning of the year 2021, and he put in for his leave. These are things people are entitled to: medical leave, annual leave. When he put in for his leave, he got approval from the HR, Madam Rose Kingston. She was the HR manager at the time. But his immediate boss, Mr. Marcus Ray, refused to grant him leave. I intervened, I made several calls, I made several appeals to friends, his colleagues in the same department. They appealed to Mr. Marcus Ray, and he refused. So I told my husband, I said, since you are crying on the phone and I'm so worried, since you have the first level of approval, can you leave and go to JFK and seek some treatment while we make arrangement for you to travel to Ghana and other places? He left. He told his boss, and I also called Marcus. I said, my husband is in severe pain. I don't know what's happening, but he's a very strong person. He don't normally cry. So can you please allow? He said, yes, the man can leave. I will approve. When my husband left the concession, as soon as he reached around Nyenwolo, he received a suspension letter. On his way, while approaching Monrovia, he received a dismissal letter. Due to that, I was then in the States, in the US. I was not working at that time, so he decided to seek intervention from the Nema County Legislative Caucus. And they were very helpful in the process. The spoke to the head of the company at the time, Scott Lloyd, the CEO, and Marcus, where decision was reversed. My husband was reinstated, and he was hopeful that when he get back to work, there will be some consideration made for him to be granted his annual or medical leave. He had worked 10 years. He had never requested for his medical leave. And there were many instances he was told that he was needed to be there because, ArcelorMittal is a strike-prone concession. So many years he waived his leave, like 4 or 5 years he didn't take leave, annual leave. But every time he put in, I have all the emails, Marcus refused. Every time he put in, Marcus refused. He put in July, Marcus refused. September, Marcus refused. October, Marcus refused. And at some point in time, we were reaching out to other people. I was reaching out to other people because each time I arranged a checkup, a medical checkup for my husband out of the country, it won't work out. I would go ahead, buy a ticket and make all the arrangements, sometimes even pay some money, and those leave were not granted. In December, the week of Christmas, my husband began to experience severe headache. He did not know what was going on. So again, he called his immediate supervisor and told him, this is my condition. I have this severe headache. Can you please allow me to go to Monrovia? Marcus again refused. That was the sixth request, and he refused. After he refused, I intervened again because I worked at the Ministry of Education as an assistant minister, and I interacted with Mr. Marcus Ware a lot of times. So I know him personally, so I call him. And every time I call him, he will always say, yes, I will do it. And when he won't take any further action. So later on that week, my husband got up, he called me again. My vision is very blurred. But I will call my boss at 7. I say, yeah, call him at 7 so he can finally make a decision for you to leave. So at 7, he called Marcus. Marcus said, my man, you got a lot of work to complete. Most of your tasks are outstanding. You have to go to the office and complete your work and not signing any approval. And in a concession, especially for my husband, they have rules that he was not allowed to leave because he was the liaison between the company and the government. So maybe government officials will come in. So that was his point all the time. So he refused. When my husband went to the office, took his computer, he lost his vision. He went blind in the right eye. Even when my husband got blind, the company refused for my husband to leave. I was crying on the phone. I was calling people, I was calling his friends, and nobody listened to me. And finally, I decided to act very rough with the situation, and they granted him leave after 1 week. And every time these requests went in, even he wanted to defy management to leave, it would be like, you'll be dismissed. He received a lot of threats while working with the company. When he went to JFK, after 1 week, lobbying and begging and crying, they saw other situations that had to do with his brain and the sight. It could not be restored. He was at the point of losing his sight in his left eye. Right away, I mobilized resources. I had to use up to $25,000, $30,000 of our savings to get my husband to Accra. While he was in Accra, with the friends helped me a lot in Ghana. I have a lot of international friends who helped me. My husband was able to see some specialists who told him it was late. The same information he got at JFK was the same information he got at the hospitals in Accra. And while he was in Accra and the doctors were trying to review his case and see how they could help him to save his sight in the left eye, he started to receive threats. You have to return, we'll be dismissing you, we'll take action on you. And one day he called me, I have to go. At that point, I was not ready working here in the US. So he returned home and said, I'm going there with my situation now. They will grant me leave. He went. It took 3 full months. My husband was being told to complete tasks on computer with one eye. He was told that if he don't complete these tasks, he will be dismissed. I have all the communication. So I kept on calling, I kept on writing. Finally, after 3 months, they granted him an excuse. When they granted him the excuse, I arranged his travel. He came to the US. We went to Johns Hopkins. I paid all the packet because he's not a US citizen. And his situation was severe. So we came, and all the time I spent in Maryland, I had to reside in hotels. And my husband was in intense pain. We returned to Pennsylvania, and somebody with the advice of a doctor, we went to the Wills Eye Hospital, and they discovered that he had multiple strokes. Those headaches he was having while working was as the result of multiple strokes in his brain. He had to undergo series of operations, therapy, doctor's appointment. The hospital bill was close to $500,000. And this situation shut my entire life. I have worked in Liberia in many capacities, in government, with international organizations, Open Society Foundations, the USAID, the American Institute for Research, a lot of places I worked. I was a consultant. I did a lot of work. And all my savings, all our savings for 30 years, we lost everything. I nearly went homeless here in the United States. And even while my husband was admitted at the Thomas Jefferson Hospital, we received a lot of communication. There was another HR guy who would write by the instruction of Marcus, where we have a clock set. And as soon as he reaches 30 days, we're going to take some action. We're going to dismiss him. And the doctors noticed that he was being harassed and he was always crying. They asked him questions and they told me to take his phone. So I took his phone and I decided to communicate with the company. I wrote them to please communicate with me instead of my husband. I provided my email address. And while these things were going on, I contacted the CEO, Scott, to do an investigation. No investigation was conducted. Later, I contacted the previous CEO, Josephus. Again, they promised to do an investigation. He responded, but they did not do any investigation. Probably the person they designated to do the investigation was also part of the whole situation, Councillor Boyka Pega, because there were some email exchanges I saw where my husband was completing his boss to Boyka Pega, the councillor, telling him to please appeal on his behalf, and Councillor Boyka Pega responded that it was not his concern. He's not concerned about what happens in other departments. I have all those emails. When they suggested that they were going to do some investigation and I should provide evidence because they pretended like they had no information. So I asked them, can you all permit me to go into your email? And they consented. And I went into my husband's email because he has problems, he can barely see. And I was able to get all this information. I forwarded to them, but to date, there has been no action taken. I contacted the government of Liberia, the previous government. I also contacted the current government, but there were a lot of information. Yes, the Minister of Labor did take some steps, but there were other people I contacted in the government, and they would tell me that ArcelorMittal is our godchild. Some of them told me that we cannot go after ArcelorMittal, and if you go after ArcelorMittal, it's like going after us. And I overlooked these statements, and I tried to help my country. There was a time when it started the county development agenda process being led by Dr. McIntosh. I decided, I said, since I led this process, I conceptualized the idea of counties having these county development agendas that would be linked with the overall national development plan. Can I provide support to make it even better? Because there were a lot of lessons we learned along the way. And somebody told me, but you're fighting ArcelorMittal. We cannot, include you. I said, I don't have to come on the ground, but I can provide some support. And they ignored me. So there have been a lot of things happening. There will be times the company will reach out to me, and I would think they are reaching out in good faith, but they have not been serious to mitigate the issue that's affecting my husband. After a year, sometime last year, I received a waiver of rights. They withheld all his benefits because we negotiated, yes, retire him because he was trying to return home. They said he's disabled, so they do not want him to work with them anymore. Um, with that, I said, okay, let's go for retirement since he served the company for 10 years and due to disability, he's unable to work. Can you all process? They sent a waiver that we should sign. And in that waiver, it stated that we cannot persecute the company, we cannot take them to court, we cannot, seek redress. So I refused to sign. And because I refused to sign, they did not process his retirement. There was a package of $21,000 that they promised. They did not provide that. I have been going through extreme difficulties. I have never, ever suffered like this in my entire life. I have lost all my savings. I have lost everything. I had a daughter that was on her way to medical school. She had to drop from medical school and look for other ways to help her family because we were in a state of complete decline. I nearly went homeless. I lost everything that I ever worked for. And since then, we have been on this process. It has been a long time. It has been 3 years, and nobody says anything. Nobody gives me any feedback. There will be some minister calling me and telling me, take action in America. Nothing will work here. When I contact the lawyers, they tell me, ArcelorMittal is a big company. Most of their cases go for judicial review, and nobody pay attention to these issues. Nobody, so no lawyer could take up the case. It was very, very difficult. And it has been difficult. It continued to be difficult until quite recently, again, they got to me. They don't believe that he's blind, but he went blind while at work. They don't believe anything, so they want to send him to a hospital to do assessment. So I agree. But that is how they have been working. They will pretend like they are working towards it. And when you find out they are not doing anything about it. So the entire process, we have been on it for like 3 years. It's not only my husband. A lot of people are in their beds, paralyzed. There were a lot of people wounded because they use a train track that is substandard, the material that they use. So there are always accidents. People get wounded. They end up in Senegal. And sometimes they don't make payments on time, and these people are placed on the hospital floors. There are a lot of pregnant women who have lost their babies due to the movement of the trains. The former statutory superintendent for Tapeta district, he's paralyzed for the past 6 years. Nobody took any action. There are a lot of cases submitted for judicial review, and nobody is doing anything about it. And quite recently, they decided to tell me in a letter that they sent that they will be taking some legal action against me for threatening Mr. Marcus Red. That was shocking. I am the victim. I'm the one who have to work for up to 20 hours. Imagine me working at the age of 53, working for 20 hours every day. I have no break because if I take a break, I won't be able to support my husband in terms of purchasing his medication, paying all of pocket for his health care. I won't be able to support my children. I have 12 biological children. So the accidental situation has completely wrecked my life. And shockingly, our government is not paying attention to issues that are confronting their citizens. Sometimes we tend to overlook these human rights reports. We try to make it a political tool, and maybe the opposition will say the government not doing anything, publish the human rights report. But these reports have significant consequences on the average Liberian, on the people who are living in the villages, people that are living and cannot afford, because donors will not put their money in such an economy. In any country that does not uphold the values of human rights, yeah, money will come, but the amount you're supposed to get, you won't get it. Nobody will be think that you are a civil society. So I just want to raise my voice. I want you all to join us to raise our voices, not only for my husband, but for the many victims, of accidental abuse. So thank you all for giving me your platform.
Well, folks, if you're just joining us, we want to welcome you to the special edition of the closing argument. Testimony that should hopefully benefit all Liberian, regardless of where you are, how you're joining us. We ask that you just do us a favor, share the video so other people can benefit. Miss Bowman, or Miss
Yeah.
Chris Bowman, I want to believe, is sharing with us today a story that every Liberian should not ignore. Don't take it lightly because as she speak, I'm also in contact with another victim from my settlement. But I'm not hosting. I just kind of jump in because of the day is here. I'm gonna get Dr. Peabody the opportunity to jump in here, and then Tomalin. And when I'm opportune to ask my question, I would tell you all of my recent experience and the story that was also narrated or shared with me. So, Dr. Peabody, you can take on.
Miss Bulma, I am really sorry to to hear what you are going through. This seems to be a real challenge, really painful, difficult for you and your family. May I ask, how's your husband doing now?
My husband is not doing okay. He's at risk of losing his sight in the other eye. He can barely see with his left eye. He's he's home. He has to make many visits to the hospitals, more than two health facilities. But he's hanging in. He's hanging in is very difficult for him because to just see your life change because of one bad decision is worrisome. Sometimes I try to question him. Why will you allow yourself to be humiliated, or why will you accept such a work place violence? Because that's violence.
Hmm.
That's a serious abuse. But he has his own reasons. I think he tried to protect his family. I did not have an income at that point. So probably no man want to lose his job. But it's a sad situation. It's a sad situation that I have to watch my husband die before my eyes. Because he has a lot of other complications. He has a lot of complications.
And Mattel still have not. They have not. You mentioned that they send you for. They say you must go to a hospital. What kind of hospital were they sending him to?
They said they suggested a hospital in Pennsylvania. We should go there for checkup. So this is not the first time. They always write anytime I try to engage in advocacy and share my story. They will reach out to me. They will send me emails. They will beg. They will apologize, but they take no further actions.
They said, and you said a government official
Mhm.
uh, who said that if you go after Mita Steel,
I'm
you'll be.
going after them. And I
Who's that?
overlooked the statement. But then when I try to help my own country, I'm the person, I've been a champion of decentralization in Liberia, education. I drafted the first document that led to counties having the county development fund. I also conceptualized the idea that counties need a county development agenda. I've led a lot of Liberia development processes. So I volunteered. I want to help you, from a distance to make the document a little bit stronger. And somebody said, you against Asilamita, we cannot include you.
Wow.
So that's how deep things are in Liberia.
So who's communicating with you now? I'll stop here and then I'll come back to you. Who's communicating with you now?
That lawyer, Dumba, is
What's the name of the lawyer?
communicating. Yes, I can share. I will share his communication because there's a component of his letter that he sent stating that the company is going to take me to court. They're going to take some action against me for threatening their staff. That caused my husband to be blind. That caused me to lose all my savings. That caused our family to totally collapse. If I did not have strong children, I may have been dead, also suffering from stroke or something else. It has been extremely difficult. It has been extremely difficult. Even now, I'm working 20 hours every day. If I work less than 20 hours, I won't be able to cater to my 12 children and my husband and get his medication. They are very expensive. He's not a US citizen. He does not have insurance. So it's very difficult. Nobody will even allow him to get insurance. Even if he gets insurance, it's gonna be very high. So it's the creator of serious economic situation,
So
hardship for my family.
apparently you were saying that because of he was under duress at work, under a lot of pressure, and they kept threatening him. He didn't want to lose the job, so he kept going back, even in the midst of his declining health. He kept getting letter of threat and all of that, and that caused him to actually have two strokes in his eyes. And Mita still has still been giving you the runaround. But I mean, go to the
Yes,
other panelists.
there are two things. The way he was harassed contributed to that. And they also he had a severe headache, and then what he requested 5, 6 times he requested for his leave, and every time there was a denial. There was a time when I was in Liberia, I was admitted at a hospital for a week, and my husband didn't come, and I got so annoyed. Why would I'm in a hospital, my husband can't come, but he didn't really explain to me. But now I'm understanding the situation. I'm understanding the situation. And I know those barriers that he faced. My children will be graduating. Even his mom died. His mother died. And the company refused for him to come to his mother's burial. It was a long pull again. We had to call people to intervene before he was allowed to bury his mom. When he reached at the scene, they were already at the grave site. Those policies are inhuman. They are not things that should be happening in this era.
Wow.
It's cruel.
I have a lot of questions, but I want to go to the other guys and then I'll come back to you. But I have a lot of questions. So, Julius or Tomalin, you guys can go ahead.
Well, I'm so sorry. I'm on the show from a different location and having some internet issues, but you guys can hear me.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's a childhood friend of mine from we grew up together in Firestone. We were classmates and so forth. I know her whole family very well. She knows my family too, and it's so saddening that what she's going through. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing all the details of all what she's been going through. And I still am to tell, like Lofa said, it's not the first time people have complained about them. And but there's no reason why on in this day and time, we have a foreign company on our own soil and taking advantage of our fellow citizens that are working for them. Uh, so my question is, first, let me just say, and I empathize with your situation. I really wish your husband well. He's in my thoughts and prayers, and I pray that you will get justice from what you are pursuing. And indeed, I must salute you for being the wife you are, for what you have endured, and to still stand strong. I really salute you for that. And I pray that there will be a closure to this issue that you are going through. But my first question is that uh, have you reached to our lawmakers? Because the lawmakers are our people's representatives of the people. Well, they are the ones who, when we have this kind of situation, we go to. So they have oversight, they have responsibility to protect the citizens and so forth. Have you reached out to any lawmaker since this thing started?
Yes, my husband hails from District Number 6, Tapeta, Nima County. I've reached out to the legislator. They have been raising these issues. They have done well. But the company does not take any instruction from the government of Liberia. I can say that. I am a researcher, and sometimes I get this information from credible people. The government, they don't, no, the government is not forceful. I would say in the past, the current is still the same, and we need to change. We voted because we look up to our leaders. There's no one else that will solve these problems besides our leaders at all levels. So if there are issues people are facing, they can't get redressed, and because Aslamita is supreme, it sends another question. Why did we elect you? So it's just sad and it's very frustrating. I don't think about my situation. I think about hundreds that have been raped and there's no justice. I think about a lot of people that have been killed. There's no justice. And I don't think our human rights report is going to be any better than the previous ones if we are not determined as a nation to uphold the rights of our citizens.
So, you have you written like the Ministry of Justice, the legislature? Have you put them on like documented all of these things like
I
written that?
have done all that. I've done all that. And I will tell you, I've contacted some international organizations. I was privileged to work with a lot of international organizations. And some of my friends in these organizations were able to guide me as to what to do and give me some tips. And I was able to contact few international organizations that have also written the government and also asked Lamita on my behalf. And every time I
So,
contact these organizations, I also indicate that there are a lot of other abuses going on within the concession, and I'm advocating for an investigation. Let people open those files. People cases that have been sent for judicial review. Let the government take action. You are elected to protect your citizens. If it was not done in the past, and we promised the Liberian people it was going to be better, it's about time we show that we mean the change.
before Lofa come in, ArcelorMittal is one of the companies that have been, like you said, and Lofa alluded to it earlier. They have had their own way in Liberia. They take advantage of employees and so forth. But one thing is that we just cannot stand. We have a responsibility as people that's in the media that have these platforms to to raise this issue like we are doing today. And it just I'm honestly we have to, and when they are invited to come and to come and address this issue, they try to shy away from it. They even want to try to stop you from coming to bring it forward. Like I know some of them try to stop this show from happening today, but we said we're determined to make sure it happens, that you come on. And this issue is being raised, and I can tell you that from our end, we will not let this just to be the end. We will make the representation to those in government, the president, the vice president, the speaker, the pro tem, all these people. And then if they will continue to allow Asylum to have their own way, we'll call them out, and we're campaigning against them for not seeking the interest of the Liberian people, because when you take an oath of the Constitution, you swore to protect and defend, and the
Exactly.
Constitution laws of
Exactly.
Liberia, and protecting your citizens too. Not because Asylum Retired, they are a concession company, they're providing or support to employment to Liberians and paying taxes so that we take advantage of our people. There are laws on the books that govern them.
They
All
have to
these companies
adhere
will
to
be,
these laws. Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah, they have been Firestone, have been around, bomb mines, Lamco, the company. They in the past they adhere to laws of Liberia. So as Salamata, I think it's about time that people and get on them to find out what got them so powerful. I mean, who they have in government that they calling a Pepper Bush, and these names. I mean, these are people names we gotta bring forward. To find out who are these people in government that shielding them and protecting them from being penalized for what they are doing to Liberians. But Lofa, I will stop here and allow you to come in and to give your contribution towards it.
All right. Well, let me first off start off by saying again, it's sad to hear that a Liberian will have to go through what you're going through today because of, you know, just the sole desire of those in government to ignore their responsibilities. Before I even start to question you on your experience or that of your husband, of course, you are part of I mean, you're going through the experience too. So I can't distance you from what your husband is going through. You both and your entire family, as a matter of fact, you guys are going through a lot right now. But I'll share with you part of the reason why I came on so early today, and I told Dr. Peabody the same thing. A young lady reached out to me um, when this was announced yesterday that we would have been discussing this, and her story about her boyfriend, how he worked at Solomital, and there were times where people would be denied their salary and they will even get hit on, not just denied their salary, but they were assaulted by management. Okay. And when I say assaulted, I mean physical hit
Physical hit. A
on,
lot of things
okay,
are going on there.
physical abuse. This young man reached out to one of the lawmakers, and it's unfortunate that when people come out with these stories and you try to probe in to get detail, they're afraid because of the society that we
This is
find ourselves in. You 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 you, you, you try to kind of inquire, okay, who is it, who did you talk to, and it's like, what's going to come out of it. This man is a
Mhm.
big man already. I mean, he's in government, and they will tell you this young woman who boyfriend still works for the institution, but is going through a lot of pain as we speak. This woman said this man has a sore on his leg, humongous sore on his leg for whatever job they're doing over there. But just like this, just as a woman just said, he's not allowed to take days off, okay, to go and seek medical attention. They're not provided insurance, medical insurance. And as a matter of fact, they are heavily underpaid. People who actually are imported into the country to work are living better than the Liberians in the country. As a matter of fact, the situation described to me, if I start to go into it, I may somehow slip on and just disclose who this individual, because it is stated that a lot of people know who he is. This is what our people are going through. So for you to come on here tonight and be courageous enough to share with us what you and your family are going through. I want to be very grateful to you. All right. And I'm very thankful. And I want to commend you for the courageous act on your part to state that you reach out to government officials and they turn
They
the
turned
blind
me
eye.
down.
I'm going to ask you this question. Can you be specific? Can you name any government official, whether previous government official or current government official? Can you state names specifically of those you reach out to and they refused or turned you down, or what the conversation was like?
Well, the conversation, I have been reaching out to a lot of people. I work in government before,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of people. I know almost like 50% or 75% of people were appointed in the new government. Even in the past government, I also know people. But nobody has shown any interest. I don't want to call names. Our society is very difficult in Liberia. I had an experience that got me in the US today. So I don't want to really start calling people names on the radio, on this platform before. Some people got their own ways of reacting to situation. So I won't feel too comfortable to disclose, my sources or people that I spoke to, but I've made a lot of efforts in terms of speaking with institutions that are responsible to handle and labor-related matters. And what is very worrisome, I have worked for my government. I worked for the government many, many years, past governments, and I've attracted millions of dollars to support my country. My work brought in millions of dollars. I wrote proposals, I wrote grant applications that attracted a lot of money for the government of Liberia. And if at my level, with my connections, I can get justice. How about the women in the market, the driver that work with ArcelorMittal, the cooks, the people on the mine? It's a sad story. It's a sad story. There's a man now in Tabata that is on his bed. He cannot move for the past 6 years. Through the company negligence, he was involved in an accident. There are many persons who were wounded on the train. No redress today. Many persons were killed on the mine and in other accidents due to the company's negligence. And they told them to sign the same document, waiver of rights. And then maybe they will give them 10,000, sometimes they give them 20,000, that's it.
Wow.
But it's about time these things are exposed. Let people know that bad things are happening within ArcelorMittal, and there's a need for them to conduct an investigation. And there's a need for them to go to that list of cases that is before the court for judicial review and take action. And
Hmm.
take action.
Wow.
But
I mean,
and I mean,
oh,
I'm sorry, Lofa. Miss Bobby, Lofa, let me just interrupt you a little bit.
go
See,
ahead.
the question Lofa is asking you, that's some of the reason why, because when we hire these people, they will
Thank you.
continue to do it. And that's what's happening. And honestly, because look, this is a problem that have been age-old problem in our country, where our elected and appointed officials of government protect foreign companies against their own fellow citizens that they claim to be representing, and because they give them of do them favors, they give them stuff, and as a result, they tend they favor they would not be in your interest, and but again, so many people seeking re-election in few years from now. If we continue to hide them and to hide them, to shoot them, they'll be elected again. People won't know what they are doing, and this will continue. But you think if we got to know their names, call them out, and the people get action is taken upon them, I saw them tell them stop. They will stop. They will say, "Oh no, we're getting
So
exposed
you know the
because they
situation,
have
you know the situation I experienced when my children were beaten. I mean, everything in Liberia has been so bad for me. So I'm so scared. They are nice too. I don't really sleep very well already. I work 20 hours, maybe sleep for 4 hours or 3 hours. I don't feel comfortable exposing people names because they go after people. Maybe some of my relatives will have certain opportunities somewhere. They're gonna go after them, and that is the way our society is built. We have done nothing to unify our country. We are pushing more division each day. So
So
I don't want people to go after my family when there are opportunities for them and they are denied because Andrew spoke on.
But then it makes it difficult for you to get the help that you need.
right,
Because I mean, we talking about Metal Steel. This is $1 billion company. They are treating people. They have a very, according to what I'm hearing, and from what I'm hearing from other people, they have a very bad labor practice. Very bad. People are coerced into doing a lot of stuff. People get hurt, and they force them to sign waiver and just give them a couple of dollars, and they leave. And this kind of thing is happening. I'm listening, reading people who work there. They are saying a lot of people die on that mine. A lot of things happen, and they just pay them a couple of
Just pay
dollars.
them. Sometimes they don't pay. Sometimes a lot of people will carry them to court, especially labor related issues, and they get no redress. They,
so let me
they
just
are big.
and I'm sorry, Madam Bowman, for the statement I'm about to make. I hope I don't come across as being insensitive to
Mhm.
what you and your family are going through, but what the decision to refuse to state name of people out of fear of being targeted by corrupt government officials, supporters of bad labor act, is only another form of enabling the bad practices on the part of a settlement. Now, for you, at least you're fortunate to have connection to Saint Tomalin, who's providing the opportunity for the rest of the world to hear your story. But what about Mata, somewhere in Nima County, who can speak, okay, they can fluently speak English, okay? What about the women all the way in the village or the men in the village with no connection to local radio station or how to express themselves? I think, and I don't want to appear to be a thanking
Julius,
for this.
I'm not a coward, and but I had experiences in the past. My children were brutally beaten
Hmm.
by people. I sent some of their photos to Tomalin. So I have bad experiences. I have serious experiences in Liberia that sometimes I jokingly tell people whenever I'm on a flight to be deported, I will ask the pilot to just release me in the Atlantic Ocean. So I
Hmm.
share those photos. My children were brutalized because somebody felt that I was this and I was that. So I've had some bad experiences from my children, my husband. I've had some bad experiences, and I gave my country my best. I always give my country my best. So people always go after people's children, they go after your family members. I just explained that I was denied volunteering to help my own country,
Hmm.
to help them strengthen the current counter development agenda. I volunteered. It's
You,
something that I conceptualized. I mobilized $1.2 million to run the process, and we printed the documents. There was some implementation that happened. I'm talking about 2008. And there are a lot of lessons that we learned. And now the government started this process of preparing new counter development agendas, and I volunteered to help. And the response I got was, "You against Islamita, you fighting Islamita. We can include people, other men said, don't include that woman on our team."
uh, I mean, going forward, I really don't have any other question, but I'm just gonna ask one and
But
hopefully.
those were authorities. Those persons that I'm speaking about were authorities in government that had the responsibility to handle labor-related matters and
Okay,
human
but
rights issues.
I got one or two questions to ask them. You
Dr.
know,
Timothy, let me say Dr. Timothy, Dr. Peabody, if I can just state this, and then hopefully I would just continue to follow and take note. I would recommend if we could, hopefully we can open up the phone lines. Let other victims call and tell their stories alongside Madam Bowman, so that people don't think that
That's good.
this is just a one-sided story. Hopefully, someone
Great
who may
idea.
be calling, all right, and these people shouldn't have to state their name. They can simply state their experience, and if they have ever, reach out to any
but
government official, let them state the government official name and just hang up. Don't say your name.
but let me
Have you,
honest, let me ask a question here.
okay,
What do you want to happen now? What do you want to see
good
happen
question.
for your husband?
What I want to happen, there are mechanisms in place to address labor-related matters, and I want those systems to work. They were created to work for citizens. And I hope those systems will be able to work not only for my husband, but for other victims of these abuses.
But your husband have not received his benefits.
They have withheld all his benefits. I will share the waiver. I think I shared a waiver of,
What do you think is your husband entitled to right now? What do you think he's entitled to right now?
pardon me?
What do you think, or how much you think he's entitled to right now that they are holding?
Well, the case is two-sided. They are withholding his benefits, stating that he should sign a waiver of rights before they release it.
Oh,
And they should also be held responsible because everybody is entitled to their leave, their medical leave. He had accumulated more than 100 plus days of medical leave, and he was again denied.
hmm.
Denied. If the sickness that is currently bothering him, if he had prompt attention, he wouldn't have been blind. He wouldn't be severely ill. When you have medical conditions, the earlier you seek treatment, the better it is for you.
Hmm. All right, let's go to the call now and see. But I'm saying that he worked there, had over 100 plus medical leave, plus other vacation hours for other things. He got hurt pretty much on the job because he was under the duress to go to work every day, even when he was sick and couldn't see from one eye. He was forced to go to work, and his eyes, because of that, he has stroke in the other eye. And even up to now, they have not given him anything. Who was the person that you are in contact with at Mitowski? Who's that person?
I have been in contact with the previous CEO, um, Josepha from Scott Lower to Josephus Conan, to the new CEO. I've contacted him. He has not responded. The lawyer Dunbar, Councilor Dunbar, will write me, and these days he's writing me with threats that
Mm,
they are about to take me to court for threatening their employee Marcus Red, who caused this whole situation. I'm in touch. I've been in touch with the Ministry of Labor. I know when I first sent my communication, I don't know they misplaced it or but I didn't get any response. I follow up with telephone conversations. I've been calling a lot of people in government.
mm.
Nobody has taken action.
Wow. All right, guy, let's take some call and then we'll come back. Consider Dhamma. He is the lawyer. He call you with threats. What are some of the threats that he would tell you? Okay.
Well, the first time we talked, we had a good conversation. He told me that the company was responsible for the situation leading to my husband's blindness
Mm,
and other illnesses. Um, and he also told me, he said, sometimes the CEO told me that sometimes when things are happening at the department level, they are not fully aware. So now that he is aware, he saw all the communications and the denial of leave communication from Mr. Marcus Ware, he will take action. and we had a good conversation. The second time I tried to follow up, we again had a good conversation. But then the recent communication stated that they received information that I'm threatening Mr. Marcus Ray. Therefore, they are going to take legal action against me. So I said, okay, you all can go ahead. I know I can even kill a fly. I wrote a lot of policies and documents to promote the rule of law in Liberia. I've been a champion for rule of law in Liberia. So there's no way I will support violence. My husband is from, he's a prominent person from Lima County. From other counties. He helped a lot of people in Liberia. So I would take no responsibility for what any other person will say to Marcus or what they may post or what they will calls they may make. I can be held responsible. Me and my family, we are peaceful people. We respect the rule of law. We know that the justice system should work and we will force it to work the same way how I had the opportunity to mobilize resources to support my country. On the other hand, I can liaise with donors in the international community and make a case to withhold funding, certain funding from Liberia, unless we can improve our human rights record. I can do that. So I will pressurize the system, the justice system to work. Because if it can work for me, I've seen it. Experiences are sometimes bad, but sometimes it's also good to feel the pain, of other people, what other people go through. It's a bad experience. But what I've seen, I've decided to continuously speak for others that are being affected. And if we cannot change our human rights situation in our country, I will join other people to lobby for other friendly governments and international organizations to withhold support from Liberia until we can take steps to prioritize the rights of our citizens.
Are you ready for to take some calls?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Hello? You getting me?
Yes.
Okay, so thanks for the time. So today is Tuesday, August 20, 2024 in the city of Monrovia. Here. So if you've been following the show, this is special edition of the closing argument here on Truth FM, and we are relaying on Heart FM. So you can put your calls in on 0777285961, 0777285961 to be a part of this discussion, and you can share your experience on the show, like you just listening to the guest. She was explaining her story. So if you have the same experience, you can share with us. Yeah, we have someone on the line. Hello, caller. Yeah, Nime, where do you call from? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead. We are listening to you. Wow, we lost that caller. So if you call, you have to pay attention to the line because we have people on the line. So you can put your calls in on 0777285961. Let's get, oh, we lost that call. 0777285961 to be a part of the closing argument special edition here on Truth 96.1 and other frequency reading this broadcast tonight. Yeah. Hello, caller. Hello? Yeah, Nime, where do you call from? Hello? Wow, we lost that caller. Hello? We're facing some problem here due to the network. So you can put your calls in 0777285961, 0777285961 to be a part of the closing argument special edition here, and you can share your experience with what you just heard from our guests here on the closing argument, and you can tell us what can be the next step. So 0777-285961. So tell the people you can go on until we get called because we are facing some network problem from Liberia.
Miss Booming, what's your husband currently?
My husband is home. We reside in Pennsylvania. Thanks to my first employer, because when I was going astray, I would say, and I was nearly homeless, they were able to provide means of me renting a home. So he's home and I'm at work.
Okay. So yeah, he's home and you reside in Pennsylvania. Okay, yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Okay, we have someone on the line. We can take this caller. Hello, caller. Yeah, name what do you call from? You get it then? Okay. So you say your name? Okay, you follow the discussion. Okay, so make your input.
Wow, it's very low. We can't hear him.
Wow. Wait, you can be on the line a little bit. Let's see. Okay, you getting him? Yeah. Okay, you can go ahead.
Go ahead.
The continent and 2017 I had to applicant to the common record for the Kano County. I have my document everything and now go after and answer that. So they could do their lesson I create a course. When I carry the document to a locality where the people are small people and now you are not money. So what you saying over there? They will have a contact. I listen to the station where the teacher will come on and offer to follow the full step. What you are saying, Nana Anima,
Okay. So thanks for making your input. All right. So yes, you can go ahead until we get more calls.
And Miss Booming, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
And,
Okay, we have someone on the line. Hello, caller. Yeah, Nima, where do you call from?
I'm pretty busy at work and
Yeah, please be audible.
yeah, I said I'm pretty busy. I call you from the community.
Okay, go ahead. You follow the discussion.
Yes, thank you to the guest and the guest speaker in studio there. You know, this thing that he explained, this matter is actually affecting us, we, the Liberians, because there are a lot of foreigners living the Chinese company that were opposite the place there, where to the Johnson, the complex, opposite the MP gas station. There's a Chinese company right there, and then there's a lady who is responsible here for majority of the workers that they call her Lopu or Chinese lady. And she employs people to work. They will not even spend 3 weeks on the job. She will get sacked then for no reason. If someone even does something to you and then if you carry complaint to her, she can't understand the English well. She will just be shouting, yelling at you, or they go on, they employ 3 person to work, and then as you be working, you work a day. If you go to work 7:30, you come from work 7:30. From Sunday to Sunday, no resting. You make 600 Liberian dollars, and then as soon you do anything or little thing, as soon you do it, she will pull you down. She did it to my girlfriend, and then I decided to tell her that, oh, let's go into that particular area because I want to actually react on what the lady is doing to you people. Because I think you were silly, and then she has sacked every one of you people. So this matter is not okay. It's not going down well with me. So let's go there so I can react on her. She said, oh, no, leave it, leave it. Even we invite labor people here. As soon as they go, they will not even communicate with workers. They will go straight and enter the people of faith whatsoever that the people will tell them that what they will deal with. They will not interact with workers. And they will tell the workers the one who feeling the pain. But when labor ministry, when they go to those institutions, they will only enter the people of faith and get their brand and envelope and come outside with it. So people, we Liberians, we are really getting affected from these things that are going on. It's very, very bad. The bad labor practice in Liberia right now is overcoming.
Okay, so thanks. Let's take this caller. Hello, caller.
Good evening.
Yeah, Nima, where do you call from?
Thank you. I'm Akwe Ebue Senior. I joined the discussion from District 4 Mosquito County.
Okay, make your input.
Let me say a pleasant good evening to all of the panelists on the show, including the guests. You see, this issue about bad labor practice in this country is something that we must look at critically. And what is true, sometimes we blame the foreigners coming to our country and ill-treating our people who are working with them. But I think sometimes we should make it a share blame game. I'm saying this to say we are not respecting the liberalization policy. There are certain businesses that Liberians should run in this particular country for which we have overlooked and foreigners have taken the lead running these businesses, incorporating our brothers and sisters into their business entity and ill-treating them. And let's be very careful, like I said from the onset, I'm giving you a living story. This is an established fact. I'm saying this. Some of the foreigners that were coming to this country, like the Lebanese and the rest of the people who are running businesses, having stores across the country here, they will go and negotiate with some of our Liberian brothers. They will hire them, contract them, and say, look, I want workers, Liberians, to come and work with me in my store. But you should spearhead this particular contract. You should be the head of the contract. Whosoever that you will bring to my store to work, I will give you the money at the end of the month, and you will be in a position to pay them. So this Liberian who is being hired and contracted by the Lebanese, they will go into this contract. Say, for example, if the Lebanese man is paying this Liberian man who is working to his store $200, the same Liberian man who is being contracted or going into this contract with the Lebanese man, it is up to the Liberian man to give this person who is working, or Liberian who is working with this Lebanese man, when the person decides to give $100 or even $50 of that 200 that is given by the Lebanese man, that person will decide to give it to this Liberian. So when I said to you from the onset that we have to be very mindful how we discuss this issue, some Liberians are stepping on the neck of their fellow Liberians in this country. I'm being very honest with you. The Lebanese men or the foreigners, they will hire them and they will go and look for their brothers and sisters to go to these different stores to work for the foreigners. And the money the foreigners will give them to pay these people on a monthly basis, they will deduct some of the money from there, and the peanuts that will be there and give it to their own brothers and sisters. And this is wrong. This is actually wrong.
Okay.
That we sometimes blame the foreigners for the way they treat our brothers and sisters, but those who are in the forefront to be able to uplift their fellow Liberians, they are the ones who, in the background, stepping on the necks of their brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
In as much we want to encourage this issue of, uplifting the liberalization policy, we must also be able to hold those that are in the forefront, their feet to the fire, so that they can be able to give their brothers and sisters, their own brothers and sisters, the necessary benefit and salaries that they deserve from these foreigners. Thank you for the show and thank you for having me.
Okay, so thanks. So you can put your calls in 0777 285961,
Miss,
285961 to
Miss,
be a part of the closing argument here. So today is a special edition. Yeah, you can go ahead, Mr.
Miss
Peabody.
Bowman, Miss Bowman, you still there?
Yes.
So, so
So,
how many years
how many years
did
did
you
you?
work with Mitastu?
Pardon me?
Did I hear 10 years? Your husband worked with Mitastu?
Yes, he had worked like 10, almost 11 years when the situation occurred.
11 years from the city. Let me
Almost
ask you.
11 years.
We have someone on the line.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Yeah, Nima, where do you call from? Hello? Wow, we lost our callers. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So you say
Okay,
they
you
have
say
worked
they have
in
worked in
what? What? So let me ask you
Hello?
this.
Hello? We have someone on the line. Hello? Yeah, Nima, where do you call from? Okay, be audible.
Yeah, so what my brother just said, I think for my own view, I have to say is that different ministry of how to call it, for example, the labor minister must be able to go to the foreigner and then give them all land that ACD you are high our people do and so people that you will be to hire them. You must be paying them so that must be posted on the wall. I didn't want that big so I think people would I mean you did like when we go to read on the wall, they be like take it, that's kind of a reason for the ministry and between he and the foreigner, yeah, I want for two to do project for example, if you taking part of this project, you pay the two to do. I think you did like when we go see on the wall, you really take it. I think some of this people will have about this stuff. So that man, I have to put the views to where they show.
Okay, so thanks. Let's take this call. Hello, caller, your name, where do you call from? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, your name, where do you call from?
I'm Jack, the call from District 15.
Okay, you've been following the show. Made the input.
You know, that was still that long story, brother. And they long boat will keep moving over the river. Those things God and labor ministry, and they all is company or all of it. Even with guy in the or the corporation, I mean the company corporation guy in this country, other than guy agent and zero labor ministry. Go off his card Ghana. Everyone on the guy. If anything happen to any working places at the end of the day, like agent at those ministries before the company exist. And if any workers, you go to that labor ministry, you carry complaint, they will give you a name. At the end of the day, you will end up getting in serious problem. I worked with your corporation before. They did it to me. I fought from the 2014 up to now. I got foot problem. I got my ass with people right now. What if people are putting all down, they make mockery all of us. Yes, it is true. Like one of the callers said, yes, you can bring the foreigners at time, but with the thing like different, we are our own wahala. We only talk good today because we in front of you, but just give all our lay piece of your other position, forget it. We took our own brother Genesis, we don't know him or fall for nowhere. I carry briefly to court. At the end of the day, I did working until my daughter got actually sick to the point of death. I end up leaving everything to focus on my daughter. That's the like bureau we in. There are more to come. There are more. We just living. The day God call any of us, at least they will move for in the Wahala. But I don't care. Anybody that come will do the thing. That's what they're doing. They're learning to treating people. Some of them good, some of them good. But our own brothers, they were question these people's mind to our wicked on us because they got that position. So we just talk. We just talk until maybe the day God call some of us. We leave the other generation with it. That's what I'm going through now. And why I level with you. When the other radio station that was 19, and we're moving to there, we're moving to our province. Our people going with it. Other people out there. So again, I will encourage any workers to other working area. Don't be the one to watch say you carry complaint to labor ministry and say maybe you get PO and maybe God will bless you. But at the end of the day, see people you carry your complaint to, they will fear you. At the end of the day, they will fire you to come and sit down home and be looking at other people. That's the lab we're in.
Okay.
Wow. That was a hot
one. Yeah, thank you for making your input.
Heartfelt.
So 0777-28596 want to be a part
so far,
of.
you got somebody on the
closing
well,
argument.
No, I just wanted to quickly suggest when the callers are calling in, don't ask for the name. We just want them to be anonymous and expose the ills in society because hopefully, probably they may be afraid to state their name and then expose some of our government officials who are part of the problem that we are doing today, because experiencing today. Because remember, minimum wage is not determined by the institution you work for. That is by the labor ministry. So even if somebody go over there and bring you on as a Liberian, there's a minimum wage that you're supposed to be paid. And even at that, the labor ministry protects you. You're not supposed to be hit on. There's so many things that they're supposed to do. And that is why every time when we talk, people say, oh, Lofa, you're too emotional. You got to take emotion out of it. This is Liberia. But there are people who are literally going through some of the things. Listen to what this woman just talked about. Her family going through it. Listen to what some of the young people are talking about. But your government official family are living luxuriously. They don't care. Once they go and get handouts, that's it. But they and their family are living and benefiting from other systems that work. Some of them, their wives, they themselves, they come here and acquire jobs. When they can no longer work in Liberia, they pack their satogas and come out here and take jobs. But the system is so rotten in our country. They are so damn wicked to the people in the country. It's almost like God should curse them and their family so that they cannot have any opportunity. Let them suffer just like the rest of the people that are suffering. It is so sickly. And these people, they will know these things. They are the self-proclaimed educated people.
But Lofa, yes, sir. They got the labor ministry who's empowered to go after these bad labor practices in Liberia, to deal with these different companies. They go there and they sit in office. They give them these little gifts and turn their back on exactly all these people like Miss.
That is the wickedness, Dr. Peabody. That is the sheer wickedness on the part of our people. Dr. Peabody, anybody who sincerely care about his people, nobody can sit here and tell me that we can just eradicate corruption. There's no way you can eliminate corruption from even the United States here. There's corruption. But we can minimize corruption. We can quarantine corruption. Put your people first. What would it take you to make sure that all of these foreign institutions that are coming to the country are adhering to the basic rules and laws of the country? What would it take you? I dare you, Dr. Peabody, knowing you, after the few times I have interacted with you, ain't no day on earth you will be considered to occupy such position and you go and take handout and watch your people getting treated that way. These people are wicked. They don't care.
They have someone on the line.
And that's what pisses me off. That's why I have no respect for a lot of them.
They are very inhumane, very much.
So we have someone on the line. Hello, caller. Yeah, Nima, where do you come from? Yeah, you been following the show, Mayor Import.
People see that they are educated, they are not God, I will do this, I will do this. Do anything when they get there. Look at the security, anything in the country. A man in the school thinks that it's time for homework. The top car, even if 600, 700 for each job. But this guy will go against the own people. You still, you don't have time. So some of them, you don't have time. So government said, yeah, I can't call it. They want to say call it, they want to lawyer there. You can't talk. Because you are all drugs, you're black on a day. So, you should get it. You don't want to let push the wall, you don't let that to you.ถ้าเกิดไม่เอาไว้ชาร์จคลาสก็ต้องวันแรกยังไงอยู่แล้วอยู่ที่เกิดในหัวเป็นถ้าในหัวเป็นสิเดี๋ยวทรานสเฟอร์อินเตอร์ตัวเดียไม่ได้ว่ากี่ตัว in past family when what you talk when you pull out even go to one day after the fact the what you we pay you for over 7 years after the work 3 years but still it does not change I don't work in the country for changes what if you can new ones that's why we don't care for one another.
Okay, so thank you for making your input here. So yeah, Lofa, you can go ahead. Okay, we have someone on the line.
Let the people voice out their dissatisfaction with
Hello,
the nonsense they're dealing with.
Okay, so you can put your course in 077785961.
Guys, if you're listening to me on the radio, when you call, he's gonna ask you for your name, but you don't have to state your name. Say what you want to say. Just be civil in your statement. Don't use profanities. Okay. Don't come out here and start using vulgarity. We will cut you off. But say what you want to say. Calling somebody corrupt is not an insult.
Just be on the line.
Go ahead.
You can go ahead. Your name. Where do you call from?
Yes, you have it. I don't want to come on, but
yeah,
for the sake of the program, I will come on. My name is Leo Harris.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks for the program, but the issue here is most of the workers at the lower ministry, they are very loyal to the very entities. Most of the foreign entities in China, most of them, they got from labor, they are loyal for them.
Wow.
So most of the bad labor practices that can go on, they are aware of it. So I keep talking about most of the men that are working to that entity there, they are loyal for these very entities. But they're very corporations in China and they are very wicked to that like grandbrother. You get your kids there, they will joy end of the day, they say, oh, can I say you saw anything action against the people or the either down the entity, they won't do it. The end of the day working, why you taking home and get a family to feed? So thank you for the program.
Okay, thank you. Hello, caller, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is for the caller from IGB country. Thank you for the show. Brother, this country is we pray. But it's not easy. We are dying. The people are dying. We just imagine, for typical example, when there was no steel company in this country, steel was cheaper. When there was only one cement company in this country, cement was cheaper. But we have almost 4 cement companies in this country that cement price go up. We produce steel and steel price go up. I used to work for one guy that's a restaurant called Mona Lisa. The guy hired me to work. My name, when I get to work at the end of the day, or pay me through this guy, I say to you, go talking. When I get to realize it, I left the job. And I went away. And imagine in this country, the only people the Indian post started smell, which like 100%. It smells double. But these are the blood. You go to there, they will say, I'm trying to get it because they will already saw the makeup and smells the devil in the very name. Why can we be so wicked to one another in this country? We kill this country. No love. If people keep talking, I'll thank you.
Okay. So let me
Look,
please call.
okay, let hold on. Miss Bowman want to give a closing. She gotta go. She gotta
Okay.
work.
Okay. So
But
caller
we,
will take you later.
yeah,
Yeah, you
let
can
her
go
give a
ahead.
closing, and then we'll continue this
Again,
conversation.
guys, my thanks on behalf of my family to you all for granting us your platform. And we look forward to our government taking action. As one of the panelists said, it's important that our government put the people of Liberia first. We have systems, we have procedures, we have policies, and I hope those systems will be allowed to work. At the Ministry of Labor, at the Ministry of Justice, our court systems, we should make it work in the interest of the common people. That is why we rise to leadership role, not in our own interest, but we should be in the interest of the people that we represent. And I want to again tell our government, I am a former government official, and I want them to know that they should never overlook or ignore human rights issue. Before any investor come to Liberia, they're going to take that human rights report to review. Before any donor decide to commit funding to our country, they're going to look at the human rights report. And if they don't see improvements, if it's not encouraging, you will talk, you will beg, you will lobby, you won't get the kind of funding that you need to support various programs within our country. And for ArcelorMittal, I want them to change the HR policies. Those policies should not be existing in this era. This is 2024. You cannot hold people against their will. Once you are at work or you within the concession area, you cannot leave. Even on a Saturday, it's difficult to leave. Some of the bosses will not allow people to leave. So they have to look at the HR policies, the environmental pollution situation. They have to look at those things. They have to look at their safety policies. There are a lot of accidents on the rail because they have substandard materials that they use. People are dying, and then they force families to sign these waivers. That is not right. You are violating the rights of Liberians. You won't do that in Luxembourg. You won't do that in London. You won't do that in Ghana or other African countries. Why Liberia? So I hope there will be some remedy, and I will continue to speak out. I have used, exhausted all national mechanisms, and I will not stop my quest. I'm in contact with international organizations. And if our government don't feel that human rights issues are important, I will continuously engage international organizations to remind our government that they should place a priority in terms of upholding the rights of citizens. So thank you all once again for allowing me share our sad story. I want to express my thanks and appreciation to all persons in Liberia and other parts of the world that have reached out to us. And we just appeal that you continuously pray for my husband, that he will have the strength. Losing your sight is not an easy situation. Um, but we hope things will get better, and the change that majority of the people in Liberia voted for will become a reality. And
Peabody, quickly. I mean, if that is again, if she's okay with it, can you share Sister Bummy's number contact with me? I have a colleague of mine. He's actually with the ABC network, and he wants to see whether we can have a conversation with her. So, if that is okay, I want to see whether we can arrange something to talk to her. Hopefully, if God bless us, that we can get a story out there on their network. Hopefully, it can be to an international wire. That would be grateful. But that is if she's okay with it.
Yeah,
yes, certainly I'm okay with it because that's the only way changes may occur. I'm not advocating.
I got a caller in here from WhatsApp. So
So
well, you can go ahead. I'll have the caller hold on so you can close up, and then I will take him later.
okay, so thank you all very much, and I want to encourage you all to continue your work. Sometimes
Hold
there
on,
was
caller,
somebody
please.
who wrote under my post where I go on closing argument. That's a small platform. I said, no platform is too small. Just an individual can bring about the required changes that are needed in any society. So no platform is too small. Thank you all, our family. I appreciate this opportunity that our story can be shared, and we hope this will bring changes within Asilomita. And the government of Liberia will take some action to stand up for their citizens. Thank you so much.
And you are welcome. Look, you are welcome to come back.
Okay.
This is not going to be the end of it. We want to know how your husband is doing. We
Okay.
want
Thank
to make sure that he gets the benefit, and we'll reach out to Salamita still as well. I know Marcus Blair. I know some other folks there in leadership position. So we're gonna try to reach out to them and see. But we're not gonna let this go down. We're not gonna let your husband go without getting the benefit that he deserves after, especially having a stroke at job and even almost dying, stuff like that. We're going to follow this story and we'll bring it back.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Well, Julius, tell me you guys are there. That's Metal Steel.
Yes,
I saw the Metal
yes,
Steel.
Guys,
thanks
can
for
I take this caller on
thanks.
I
Yeah,
think
go
he's
ahead.
calling from he's an international caller, calling from
Go
Australia or
ahead.
somewhere. Caller, go ahead. Your name and where you calling from? Your name. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Yawaji. I'm calling from South Korea.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, let me say very big thank you to you guys for the topic. Discussion. I mean, it's just quite unfortunate how brother was going through that situation and nothing have been done about it. But I have a little qualm on what is happening to our brother. Our system is appealing or trying to talk about the situation of her husband. And she go through certain procedures in Liberia and not able to call the names of people she went to and unfortunately she didn't get resolved on. I think it is not good that, I mean, what are we here for? And she also made mention that she can lobby and start funding to go to Liberia. I mean, if you get that opportunity of lobbying for funding her to go to Liberia, I think we can use that same lobbyistic power to address the issue because this is not Liberia problem. It is a certain company in Liberia and officials of government that is doing this to you and your husband. So if you can address this issue to the international community to withhold funding to Liberia, I think you can still lobby with the same people to deal with Asana Metal to get the result that you want. Because if you cannot get it from the people and the lawmakers and the government officials in Liberia, I think you use that same means of getting a quick response for your issue. And let me say this to end on this note, Julius. I don't know the position the husband held in the company, but people in Liberia who is feeling this pinch, the serious pinch, that cannot afford to even go to the hospital or to go to Atlanta, Georgia, or to go to Minnesota, because I'm American, my husband is in the US. We have people who is crippled lying down in villages in towns in Yuma County on the same as a metal. But she had the opportunity of flying her husband from Liberia to the US. I think it is important that she deal with the issue accordingly by calling names. We are the We are interested in groups of people who she wanted to have failed to address the issue. Okay? That's what we're interested in. But what we've heard in the news, it surely shows how she's just fronting for something different. She's not fronting for the entire Liberia. She's just fronting for herself. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. That was the only call we had on here from our end here, St. Tomalin.
Yeah. As I was saying, thanks for this for hosting. But Lofa, the problem in our country is an issue problem where I remember vividly back in the days when in Firestone, where I grew up, the guys was the government official would come to Firestone, they give them gasoline, take them at the golf club, and they put them in these air conditioned place. They eat good meal, and treat them very well. They give them envelope. They give them the food at the gas tank, get in gas slips, and they can even sleep overnight in a hotel at the company guest house. And the common man, your business, just forget it. Nobody take you serious. They don't prioritize you, and they will leave and go. And the same thing that has continued in our country. Uh, Once you have no one to talk for you, people will take advantage of you. And don't tell me all what's happening at Salamitel. Don't tell me that our elected officials they're not aware. They are aware because they go there, they visit that company, they go there and they say, okay, no, you can see around. And when it gets there, they are treated well. Okay? That's what happening with construction companies. But you see,
I think Tomalin is kind of frozen.
I'm sorry, I lost myself.
Are
Nobody
you
can see
good?
me.
Yeah, we can see you.
Nobody you can see me.
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see you now. It just went
Okay.
dark.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go
all
ahead.
right,
We can hear you.
okay.
We can hear you. Go
In
ahead.
other African countries, okay, okay. In other African countries, the guys won't take it from any foreign companies. But because Liberia, we are struggling. In fact, how many times when last we saw heard about any investors going Liberia to invest in our country? Since early time, there have not been no major company investing in Liberia. Say, well, they're going to establish some investment in our country to employ Liberians. There have not been since Ellen left office. So the government forget it. They will do what they want to do with you. They push you around, and we can't do nothing to this company because they will tell you, oh, you bother will shut down and go, and your economy will crash. So as a result, they play our people. But again, until our program, they come back to the thing we've been saying all the time. Until you elect the right leaders, right senators and representatives, that'll be your interest, who will stand up to these people, you always face this kind of problem. Because if you have a strong legislature, a strong government, it takes no time to call to someone the CEO of Asylum and say, look, we're not going to in a concession agreement.
I think the guys back home are experiencing some problem, and St. Tamerlane himself is also experiencing some technical issues on his end. But very often we speak to these things, and we talk about the reason why it is very important that we consistently hold our government accountable. Look, regardless of how you want to see this, how you want to describe this, based on your political alignment, your brothers and sisters are the victims. If I were to ask you today, all of you on here, there's about 1,400 or more of you on here, okay? Not including those of you that are just sitting in the back and not commenting or doing anything, but you're following the podcast. Let me ask you, or let me or tax you today. Conduct a survey. Go and conduct a survey in Liberia. Ask all your government officials, from representatives, senators, ministers, all of them. Where are your family members? at least 85% of them were referenced out of Liberia, if they're being honest enough. That is the reason why they just don't care. The reason why they will not invest in the education system is simple. Because their kids are not benefiting from the education system. So that's the reason why they will purposely see that the schools, okay? That's the reason why they will see that the schools are without or fitting bathrooms. And they will not bother to ask the institution, why is it so filthy? The reason why when you go to restaurants and they're not clean, it's because the government just don't care. You know why when you go to McDonald's, you see those marks on the wall on that little paper? They grade them. It's because the government have a system put in place to protect you, the people. Tomalin, go ahead.
No, Lofa, please, somebody won't call, but I use my phone so that we can get the number, let them call.
Yeah. Let them call.
So call on that call from Georgia, Georgia's number. Please listen to Lofa.
Yeah, let me. Call 608-416-9794.
Yeah. So Lofa, as you are saying, Lofa, that's the problem.
Sylvester wants to join us. Let me send it the link to Sylvester. Yeah, guys.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, let me
bring
the
problem facing. Until we can address that problem, we have this thing happening all the time. People take advantage of you in your own country because your leaders fail to protect you. Your leaders, they are compromised. The leaders they go to these people and companies and take favors. I mean, they come there. Oh, I'm here. I mean, they will come. Imagine if you are a concession person, you see your senator or representative or minister go to your area. The first thing you say, well, you'll take care of that man. Give them, get them to the best place, the best restaurant, and make them feel good, comfortable. They're not gonna tell you you taking advantage of Tomalin, George, or Lofa. No. They're not gonna say nothing. And you even telling them I got age to say they're taking notes to do something about it. That just blah.
Tomalin, let me share it. Let me share the number with this person again. 608-416-9794. For those of you in the diaspora, if you want to call, another number you can call is 919-324-6828. That is also the studio line number, but you can call 608-416-9794. 608-416-9794. That is the number to call, and we will give you the opportunity to chime in on the conversation. Liberians, I can see why a lot of us may not want to speak to these things because our immediate relatives are not victims as of yet. Okay? We only want to speak to these things when our relatives have been victimized. But remember, when the rain comes, it is not selective as to which home or the roof that it falls on. Let me take this caller here.
Go ahead.
Caller, go ahead. Caller, your name and where you call it. Well, you don't have to say your name. Go ahead. Let's hear from you.
I will call my name. They want to do anything like that when my name is put when it's calling for arrest in Georgia.
All right. Go ahead, Mama.
Julius, thank you so much. Timothy, thank you so much. Peabody, thank you so much. You know, Julius, what I love about you, you don't sugarcoat nothing. You just say, they like it tough, they like it tough. That lady that came on, so help me God, if they were, I couldn't with it. But there's star Arabi in the grave, and that whole place be upside down. She took it too much from them. She took it too much from them. Scared before my husband leave job, my husband going to die, he's going blind, and I got to take all that nonsense from you people. God forbid. God forbid, I was married to my husband. He was working in school mountain park, his supervisor can tell you what I did. I walked up to the white man and I told him how I felt. And he told my husband, your wife is too brave. I don't play that nonsense when I was married. You don't disrespect my husband and talk about job. Job? Oh my God. You know, in Liberia, I stood up in front of a store and I saw a black guy trying to tell a yellow black man to disrespect a Lebanese man. And I was like, what? In his own country, I saw a Lebanese man slapping an officer. And when I asked the officer, what are you going to do? He said, when he called, they won't do anything. What's going on? Because you pull, so you kiss all the doctors and cap the butt? It's just because our country, we don't have it. Our leaders, and most of them are keeping, they were sleeping on the mat, and because they bought mattresses, and they can sleep on mattresses now, so they will let these people come and disrespect us in our own country. The old people say, because you sit on my shoulder, you hear me, I'm taking you and telling me I'm staying. You're taking all our material for our countries with everything, and then you're still there respecting us because our leader, they want a brown paper bag. They go sit in Royal Hotel, they go to Mama Point and all the places, they go sit there and drink and just get a brown paper bag, and you forget to know that those are the same people that voted for you. Those are the same people that put you in place. These people work for you. Don't think they're like slaves in their own country. Why don't they carry that nonsense to Nigeria? Why was Nigeria act so sick? Why men in Nigeria have a tongue Muslim for you? Y'all act like when you put water in a balloon and you take the water up. Y'all look how it looks. That's how y'all look. I won't say anything else like that. I'm so sick and tired. Julius, Tiffany, Peabody, please. It's a call for us to keep on talking. Let's talk. Let's do something about our country. It's getting worse and worse and worse. No investor will come in our country as long as our people sitting. Those who sitting over there calling themselves representatives and senators sitting down there for brown paper there, and they're sitting and our people suffering like that. May God punish all of them, except all of them. They didn't pass through a woman. That's the only way. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you. Peewee, welcome to the show, brother. I don't know if you followed the entire conversation, but here's where we are. Our people are literally being... You listen to the story, man. I don't want to. I know sometimes when these stories come out, bro, it boils my blood to the extent where I want to get out of just being professional and just say what I want to say and then go to bed peacefully. Because sometimes when you think about what these people are going through, it's just unbelievable. But let's hear from you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Julius. I think I didn't listen in entirety to our special guest, but I think this is a very special human interest story that we needed to take very key attention, pay key attention to, and make a lot of deep follow-up to this process on a more serious note. And let me slightly disagree, not slightly, let me disagree with you quickly. We will agree heavily on this matter today, but let me disagree with you and also make you understand that it's not 85% of our government officials, family or kids outside the country. No, that is not.
What is it? It's 90?
No, it's not 90. It's not. I don't even think it's around 25%. Now, the process that our folks are just it's not 25%. Go back to the legislature. The legislature, you have close to 95% of those that are in the legislature, their family, or 90% of family, they are in Liberia and in Monrovia or in the metropolitan area of Monrovia.
I bet you, Peewee, I will put money on the ground. It will be sincere. Let us conduct a survey, okay? An independent survey of people or neighbors of those people who are those lawmakers or government officials. And let's come back here and then discuss that data that you just read. 25%, I totally disagree with
I'm looking forward to you putting money on that.
Look, I will put the money down.
Money on that, if you put money on that, I will drink beer with that money.
That is okay. Matter of fact, I will order palm wine from Lofa County for you. Palm wine from Lofa County so you can drink part of it.
No problem. But let me say this for you quick.
Okay.
I've shared similar thought process before. That bulk of the government officials' kids or family are out of the country. It's not true. At the time, with the new progressive, with this, I did something. That the first place I took is the legislature, right? In the legislature, 90% of those in the legislature, their kids are in the country. And let me repeat, 90% of those in the legislature. Most of those in the legislature are people that we all from time back home and interacted. Go back to the government of Liberia, if you will. Go back to the government of Liberia and just begin the process of going through the process of ministry or institution. For instance, the LPRC managing director, his kids and family, they are right in Liberia. The managing director of the Liberian Water. So I'm giving an example.
Wait.
It's a grant that we all went around.
Samuel Toure. You said what? Samuel Toure?
Amos Toure.
Oh, Amos Toure.
Amos Toure is the APRC managing director. He lived in Liberia. His kids are in Liberia. His family is in Liberia.
They were in Liberia.
They are in Liberia.
No, they were in Liberia until his ascendancy to the position he now possesses.
Even at that, his family still live in Liberia.
No, they were in Liberia.
They are still there.
Peewee, I'm not trying to argue on this thing here.
I don't want you to make it popular to see me as you
see, I'll leave it.
See me as I'm trying to defend. Let me get an example for instance.
All right.
More Ali kids. They're currently in Liberia. He's in government. I'm just beginning to name some of those people for us. The Deputy Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Colonel Kra, right? Colonel Kra, she and her kids, her husband, they're in Liberia. Warren Bryan, for instance. No, I'm trying to say to you, we are regular folks that operated in the country. I will not defend that. What I'm trying to say, here's the
reality. Peewee, here's the reality, right? Mm-hmm. These people don't send their family or friends abroad where they are not in government. Upon their ascendancy to government, they then start to take their family out of the country. How long have Mo Ali and the one you speak of, the Toure and other people, how long have they been in government? We have observed these things day in and day out.
I agree, but quickly, let me make this point. The intent is not about that. The intent here is, I don't think it's because the people are just don't care and they are cruel if they want to treat the Liberian people, they wouldn't want to treat the Liberian people. You can still have, it's not in the country, you can still have, I agree, there's opportunity to have your kids out, but if you did the right thing, people are just cruel and careless about the people, and that is wrong. And when we are in the governance system, we need to have our people back. We need to have the backs of our people. There, they will have a lot of confidence in public service. Because if you don't have trust, if people don't have trust in you, if public service is eroded via the process of public confidence, that's a serious problem we headed to. And I agree. We, as the servant of the people, should serve them. That's what we call, and that's why I believe in reading this servant leadership book, right? As a servant leader myself, I believe in people serving. It's good to serve because if you serve, there's dignity in service. So, and I do believe that there's no level of the issue about you coming into power and then trying to negate that. But here is it. The boss club, they will refer to it as those guys that found themselves in public bureaucracy. The intent is to maximize all of the glory, right? But again, the best thing here is have the people give the service to the people. If there's a process about making laws that would benefit the people, implement those laws to the letter so that everyone will come across the law and benefit from the public service perspective. If it is the issue about trying to come up with a hospital, try to do a massive and appropriate city planning process. Plan the city, put into place the very mechanism that, for instance, every community will have a little market in this community. We have a clinic that will serve our people. We do our community roles and ensure that those community roles are connected. The social services are given to the people so that if they are intending to go to the hospital or the clinic, they will be served. They will be served. At the level of our country, let's serve them at that level because we know our national envelope. As one of my mentors, my big brother, will always say, the envelope is very small and there's a lot of priorities we have. So everyone is trying to catch into those things. And that's one of the reasons why, for me personally, I'm looking forward to seeing the President of the Republic of Liberia, Nimi, Augustine Gafon, as the next finance minister. Then we'll put into place a lot of major fiscal prudence financial management process that will be in place. With Gav coming back as the Minister of Finance, he set into this era as the Minister of Finance and Development Planning. He's going to be the President Chief Architect behind development planning and strategic thinking. I believe we're going to have somewhere very well. And I'm of that mindset, I'm of that perspective. These are the kind of people, and I can assure you, when God served as minister and the rest of that, he lived in his local community. He lived behind supermarket. He lived with the local community there. Basically, most of our folks that served us before. And that's the kind of thing we want to see, Julius. I know your ear is not permitting you to listen very well to this process, but you prepare to listen and you want to come. But I will hope you give me some time because I just came on the show, right? But I will still believe that we still got some good public.
First of all, let me hold on 1 second, Peewee. First of all, the fact that you reference my ear, you make me feel like you're referencing the fact that my ear is so small, so you want the size of my ear.
I see you tired now. You know what? It had to your ear.
No.
It had to your ear. You know what?
I will let you. I will give you the opportunity. I will give you the opportunity to strangulate yourself to the audience and not me. Go ahead. My ears are open. My ears are open. I'm listening.
When I speak, it is on the basis of the believability of and beyond that, it is the sufficiency of those evidences that I bring to bear, right, or to the defense mechanism that I have. It's not about what the public will say. You know, we are heavily divided in the country. People got different sides. So if I came out today and said this, because if I feel that too many journalists, what I want to say, and be scared to say, even if it is true, no. I will have to come back and speak up on my and defend that, right? And defend it fearlessly. I believe that one of the best public servant currently we have to serve our people and to serve this president is Augustin Gafwan. If we can talk to him, negotiate with him to resign his job in Kampala with the African Development Bank as the country rep in Kampala. He's been there for almost 3 years now, doing very well. If we can do that for him to come and contribute to our country moving forward, he's going to bring physical discipline in the process. He's going to do a lot of things. He will. So listen, I'm not one person that will come and say,
let me ask you.
Listen to me. I didn't support the Unity Party, then I should go against that. No, we have some very extraordinary elements in the country, and people like Augustin Gafwan. These are people that we need to now to draw close to this process to bring more sense in the governance system in our country. And I believe that, and I'm of the conviction, and I will say that anytime, any day, anywhere. Go ahead.
Let me ask a quick question here, and then Dr. Tomalin can jump in here. So, what impact does it make to those victims of bad labor practice upon the ascendancy of to the finance ministry? I mean, what major impact, short-term impact will they feel upon his return to the finance ministry that they did not feel the past 12 or more years when he worked with Madame Saliv and previous other finance minister who served and claimed that the economy was doing so good to the extent that they even claimed that we had grown the economy at 5 and whatever percent. But those who actually are on the field are still being victimized. What do we expect from his return to impact the lives of these struggling masses that are being victimized by poor labor practices?
Okay, first and foremost, when he was leaving the Ministry of Finance, it was not about non-performance process. There was
I did not say that.
I'm coming there.
I'm not concerned about. No, let us not deviate yet. I pose a specific question. I want you to address the question. How does a return impact the lives of those who have been victimized by poor labor practices, poor labor law, the implementation of the labor law?
Very well.
How does the return of Gafwan benefit those people?
Yeah, very well. Quickly, before I get there, let me pivot in a few seconds. When he was being appointed as Minister of Foreign Affairs, President Saliv quickly told the Liberian people that she was shifting him on the basis of his tremendous talent that he was going to push forward to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It was not about performance in the process, right? They needed his skills again at the level of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to impact our foreign policy process that needed some intervention. Now, what he's going to do, there's a man that I know before and now for more than 2 decades that I can say here and vouch for that his human relation is good. He believed in the process of performance. He believed in the merit-based performance process. So anyone that would believe in merit-based performance process, you understand clearly that that person will bring dignity to bear. He will respect the folks for what they are, and he will put the maximum process about ensuring that people that are competent and qualified will be placed in the right area. And the barriers that will work in every sector of the country. Because, mind you, he's going to be the champion of development planning in the country. He's going to ensure he puts into place those policies that will affect the people positively. Now, folks, communities that are down, there's a need to transform those communities. He's going to put his act to play and ensure that help the president, advise the president appropriately that the issue will go across the area. Now, Gav is not a selfish person. He's never been one. So what he would do is to uplift and catapult the image of the country.
Period.
I come in 1 minute.
I understand you're out here reading out this brother's resume.
Yeah,
I agree. In addition to all of what you stated, I want you to jump to the nitty-gritty of the conversation that is being held here today, because the purpose for the conversation. Well, no, but Peewee, you're telling me of all of these things that he possessed. How do these things, and let's speak for the lawman's understanding, okay? How do these things that you just read out, how do they impact the labor law so that our young people would not continuously be victimized, like the story of our special guest, whose husband, okay, is today sitting somewhere in the United States seeking medical attention because an institution in Liberia refused, okay, to adhere to our labor law, and he was abused. What would a finance minister who possessed no authority to change anything when it comes to the labor law do upon his return to the finance ministry? That is all I'm asking of. What power does he possess to make it happen?
Yeah, okay, very well. And I just said to you, Julius, yes, the man is not only the finance minister, something you're slipping up here. And I see most of the folks say we're not changing the topic. And when I started my conversation not too long ago, and I intimated that this story is a specific human interest story. It's difficult to come on this kind of a story, right? So you have to be careful as to how to avoid people thinking otherwise. Now, other people may be a little myopic understanding your perspective. But here's what I'm saying. He is the Minister of Finance and Development Planning of the Republic of Liberia. Okay. Now, the planning process is where we head to all those the process. You put into place an appropriate planning mechanism that will also affect through the Ministry of Labor that should be overseeing most of those things and doing some strategic intervention in those areas. Now, so apart from allocating resources to those government institutions, you put into place strategic planning mechanism that will benefit the Liberian people and have them protected and give them the dignity they deserve in the work area. And I emphasized when I came first on the show that I listened to this woman and I share the empathy of this story. I empathize with her. And yes, the situation there. And I do. I don't support any government institution or anybody in government or government institution trying to liaise with those individuals that are in those various different concession areas to try to trample on the right of our Liberian people. I don't believe in that. I don't subscribe in those things. But here's what I believe in. If we put strategic people of discipline, people that got the track record to implement government policy, trust me, we got a long way to go to ensure that these things happen and these transformations come to bear. So that he's not going to be the number man, that he's the Minister of Finance and Development Planning. That's what I was saying to you, that there will be appropriate issue that they would do. So, but probably you're not catching me up when I was saying that.
But Perry, here's my thing though. The finance, again, this is why I often say when I say what I said, right? I agree with the whole political ability to kind of spin.
I'm not spinning nothing.
You may not think that you're trying to spin the narrative, but I can tell you today, and I want to put again, this is not a betting show. We're not betting or anything, but I want to challenge you to this, right, Pee-wee? Remember, Gaffron served with Madame Solive, and there are stories of bad labor practice or practices, not just one, like several of them, under Madame Solive's watch. When he served as a finance minister, it did not start under President Weah's watch. And even under President Weah's watch, when you and other people who actually you would say today, if I were to ask you, okay, to categorize Samuel Twe ability to transform Liberia, the development aspect, the financial aspect of things, you would definitely not say that Samuel Twe is a mediocre. You will consider him one of Liberia's best. But under his watchful eyes, Liberians were being abused with all of his ability to impact the society as you claim here. So I want us to go back to the reality and let us just be real here. Let us deviate a little bit since you want us to deviate from the topic that was being discussed.
No.
Let me ask this question. All right, let me ask this question. Let me say this. Let me just ask this question.
I insist that we go back to the topic. I don't want. Yes, what I'm saying that. I've just brought this as part of the process to pivot a little bit because we in intellectual, as part of our intellectual prowess.
That's good.
To sometimes do this, we pivot and we come back to the process, draw attention to these issues, and move on. We learn through the process different skills of things to do those lines, right? The intent is not to deviate from this. I'm not a deviant. I'm never going to be one. But appropriately, you have to focus on the agenda of what we came to discuss. But sometimes, when the need be, you have to strike some very significant point, and those points will go a long way in trying to determine how we should focus the attention of the debate and how we're going to do things. And the part of the reason what I brought about this illustrious gentleman is because of what we know he is and what kind of a thing we pray that if it were to happen, it would be appropriate for the country. But yeah, mind you, I started this show and I was very careful. A lot of folks that are commenting here are not good, I don't want to say listeners, or they didn't follow very comprehensively. Some people do listen, but they don't comprehend very well in terms of when we come out to say all things. I'm saying to one of the followers here writing things about I came to campaign, but just one person just going over and over.
People, let's focus on.
Yeah, no, I come. No, sometimes when you understand, you follow these things. And
you're right.
Right. So yes, the point is not to come and go against. That's what I said. It was a human interest story. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I started that is because I knew there are some detractors that will come try to sway the process, right? It's a human interest story, and we share our concern with this woman that are just on the line. Honestly, her husband work with the company. I think that should be the second biggest company in Liberia in terms of investment. Firestone and that of ArcelorMittal, two very huge company investing into our country. So that's why I said, but we need to focus on some of those things and ensure and ask this company to give dignity is very important in the country in terms of the work area. We need to give our folks, and that's why we need people that will be online competitively to challenge most of those things and ensure that those things are implemented. The president of the country will not be all over the place at the same time. He cannot even be there at the same time. That's why the president got his lieutenant. Those people that are appointed ministers, directors, managing directors, and other things, they are part of the auxiliary of the presidency. These are all auxiliary. They perform certain tasks on behalf of the president. But that's the reason why the salary way and pleasure. But again, and we encourage that certain lieutenants would be on that will come and lead the process and strike the balance there. And a very pivotal role in government. So the intent is not to leave that. I have always said, and I've advocated before, Julius, via the new progressive movement, that there was a lot of cases we took before in the country. in terms of letting people abusing our folks, in terms of the Indians abusing the folks and the rest of that. Even in even in our own Liberian government institution, I've been loud. I've amplified my tone time to time in the country. We've got a history. We debated this issue before, and we struck some deal that people got punished about abusing the rest of Liberians. So Liberian will always look. We cannot see our as long as we can say, I cannot be slave in my own country. Right? It's the kind of the song about the Mecklenburg Kingdom. We cannot be slaves in our own country. It would be somehow difficult to hear, but acceptable to say Julius is a slave in Afghanistan or far land, but Julius cannot be a slave in Korea or whatsoever, right? I mean in Liberia. So that's the process. So let me say to all of our resilient listeners and the rest of them that yes, I do take key attention to this process about Liberians should be given the dignity to the work area and should be protected in the work area. So, but that remedy, the woman, she got that remedy. You can take the case to the Court of Arbitration, International Court of Arbitration. They can hear some of these things and there can be some remedy coming back to them in terms of what this gentleman went through. But it's unfortunate that he may suffer for this kind of a very huge, or even in London, there's that opportunity they have to Asylum Meta is based, the headquarters in London, right? So you can challenge them to the process and show that these kind of a things can unfold, and there can be some feedback or some serious remedy back to the family. But this is not about me not coming to say I'm protecting our campaigning. No, and the rest of that, we have to focus on real thing.
Right, but you spoke of something. You spoke of something that actually it struck my attention. You said Asylum Meta been in Liberia for the longest, and this is not the first time, and it's not the second or third. There are so many cases that have taken place, even in government. Okay, the government that is supposed to protect the rights of the people. Okay, so that brings me to the question, though. You served in government before, you know. Unfortunately, I've never served in government in Liberia. I've had the opportunity to serve in government in the United States. All right, but here's my question, Peewee. What can we, as a people, what can we do to protect the rights of those who cannot speak for themselves from the government level? Because I know for a fact there are laws in place, but the laws are not being implemented. What can we as a nation and a governing body do to make sure that those innocent citizens, those who have been victimized, are protected under the law? And before you answer that, who is the current Labor Minister, if you don't mind helping us with that?
The current Labor Minister is Councillor Cooper Cry.
Councillor Cooper Cry. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, this is a person who a lot of Liberians frowned at his nomination and his appointment. Everything that was done about this individual was frowned upon. A lot of people said that he was corrupt. He had been a part of the process of not adhering to what the law says. Going forward, I don't want to sit here and then appear to be speculating, right? But let us speak to what can we as a nation do to protect the rights of innocent Liberians.
Yes, basically, Councillor Crow served in the past government as Minister of Posts and Telecommunication, and but he was appointed earlier on in this administration as the Attorney General, but that appointment was rescinded by the president after some cry of that he may have done something wrong in the court process and the rest of that there was something related to some issue that I can't really clear on. But the president withdrew his nomination as Minister of Justice and then subsequently appointed him as the Minister of Labor of our country. And that's a very strategic position on the most serious note. The Ministry of Labor position is very strategic. And again, it's the only institutions that are there to protect our people in terms of that. What we need to do, the only thing we need to do, Judah, is to ensure that we protect and implement the laws of our country. We've got very good laws on the board. The 19, I think something labor law, the decent, the labor law Then we have the Decent Work Act. The Decent Work Act is also talking about protecting most of our people. We have the laws on the book. It's very effective. It's very good. But the only thing is about the law, because those laws cannot implement themselves. You know that, right?
And that's why I said the laws are not being implemented.
Yeah, they cannot implement it. So we, the people,
so what can we do?
So the only thing we do, we need to appoint people, and that's what we need to appoint people with integrity. People with integrity, people that are intentional, people with the mindset to do the job, intentional folks, integrity, competent people, merit-based elements that will come and have the job done, right? Because people with integrity, let's say for instance, Judah is always criticizing things. Judah seems to have integrity. Bring Judah on board. If Judah believes that this should be or no one need to drive in Liberia, or no one need to appoint a local manager in any of the company in Liberia, if we have a Liberian citizen competent to do that job, that person should not be hired. If, for instance, an Indian man or this person brought something, their work permit came on, landed on the Minister of Dex, don't sign that work permit. Because you have to first and foremost find out, hey, this job cannot be performed by anybody in this country. Now, if it is established that that particular job cannot be performed, because the labor law is very clear in our country. Now, there are certain managerial jobs, apart if the person is coming apart from the very high up, the top level, because at the echelon of those levels, we have category of positions that should be occupied by Liberians. If those positions, we have competent Liberians that are qualified, competent, then you cannot bring someone from outside. Non-Liberian cannot occupy a certain position. Now, the only time that can happen, you have to exhaust all of those criteria set, laid down by the laws of our country. And sometimes, in many cases, those things are not met, Julius, because, there was a time you had the Chinese people selling ice and cold water in Liberia.
So, people, that brings me back to the question, though. The root of this question: what's stopping us? It's not like we are not. Are we incapacitated to get?
No, we're not incapacitated. Is there
so what's stopping us? Let me tell you a story. Right when I last visited Liberia, I visited one of the Indian stores, shop, whatever it was, to purchase something, right? And the young man was sitting outside. He was sitting right by the door, and he was kind of just playing on the ground. So I walk over to him, and I try to dab him and be like, "Yo, what's going on?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm at work, man." I said, "Oh, okay." And, I understand you're at work, and I try to walk away. So I said, "I'm about to give me something. You work here?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, help me out here." He said, "No, talk to my boss." I'm like, "Well, I want to talk to you." And then he kind of winked at me. So I noticed something about that, right? When he winked at me, I said, "Okay." I told my little brother who was with me, I said, "Look, let's go back." And then I didn't get in the car. I walked on the other side, and I called this young man. I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "When our boss see us interacting with our own Liberians like this, they feel like we about to steal something out of the store, and we can actually get into trouble for that, and we could be beaten, right? For the mere fact that we are interacting with our own people because they think that we are trying to just connive and steal from them." Believe this or not, the next day, I came in that very store. It was on the Chocolate City, on the Chocolate City belt. I went to that very the soul. I don't know whether it's still there, but it's so houseware, like anything you wanted in there, like houseware, the refrigerator, and all of these things. I witnessed this Indian dude smack the living thing out of this young man. For whatever reason, this particular incident I did not witness, or I did not see what really happened, but I saw him hit this young man. I got so furious, and I was like, "This is complete nonsense." I wanted to really do something, and the folks I always say, "You'll be wasting your time." This man will call the police, and the police will arrest you for standing up for your own brother. And the young man just rubbed, slapped. He slapped this young man and walked away. And that was it. He went in the back. And when I talked to this young man, he said, you ain't seen nothing yet. They have rubber that they beat your own people with. Are you saying that we are so spineless as Liberians that we cannot stand up for our own? And I said to this young man, and to God in heaven, God be my witness. I said, had that been my little brother, I would have stabbed whoever that Indian was and walk away too. Payback. I would have done something to hurt him in return. But this young man was afraid. You know why he was afraid? He was afraid that had anything happened on his behalf, he would have had a job the next day. Liberians are being treated like slaves in that very country. So what's stopping us from implementing the laws that are on the book?
Yeah, exactly. And so, yes, what we need to do, and we prefer a lot of different way to handle this process. And sometimes we cannot be sentimental about it. And what we have to do is the only person that can, because the lawmakers themselves will do much more, but they will have their own limitation because they're not executive to do the implementation process. So yeah, we need to do what we need to do. Part of the process is that we need to have the executive to be more proactive in terms of looking after this process. You have the president will have to pay more attention to those areas. Now, by doing that, sometimes we need to have a minister of labor that is one of the very proactive and very straightforward person that we can bring to bear. We find one of the rigid person we have in the country, one that will go straight forward to have the laws implemented. And show first and foremost, because periodically, we will first and foremost need to understand if the executive mansion will call periodically to see, for instance, I want to see the listing of all of the major companies in the country, their employees, right? If the minister, whenever the minister went to the president for briefing, in terms of briefing on certain policy prescriptions, there will have to be a certain line you have to brief the president on. That's part of our bureaucracy. You brief the president to say, Mr. President will ask, because the president will have to probe. You need a president that will probe more, because the more you probe, you gather more caution, and the more those answers, the more those answers are coming out, then you know where the problems are. That we that strategic about those things, that there's strategic thinking and planning and the rest of those things. Because the more you ask question, the more there are answers, then you know where are the deficiencies or where are the malfeasance. And then you can try to repair those malfeasance. Now, if that were to be the case, you find out all of where Firestone, all those different companies, ArcelorMittal, Putu, and the rest of the folks, Beer Mountains, the guys in the bombing area and all those areas, you find out that these are positions that, now with the decision of the general manager, I think the two strategic higher position in terms of the hierarchy, all of managerial area have to be Liberians. Then you leave there, you come back to the lower level area. How the condition, how they put faring. Now, did we agree that you're going to put fire, for instance, Firestone? Did we agree that those folks will be in a home that will be palatable and that we have some space with their family? Now, if it is palatable, yes, and where are the conditions? Do we have, no, the palatability is what we talk about electricity. Water is running through the system and the rest of it. And they have the kind of ambience, the necessary ambience to provide for the kids. While the school system in the area, for instance, Firestone have passed most of the benchmark. Those benchmarks have been successfully met by Firestone. Now, if those benchmarks have been met in terms of the school system, Firestone got one of the very rigid and competitive school system in the country. And that I can vouch for because they've been performing very well in terms of the output in wax or wire at the time in the country. And the marks are very good. The students perform very well if they went to university in Liberia or outside the country. That is clear. It's evident. It's record. Also, the lax school system. So you go to those lines, understand. Now you go back also to those concession areas. Now, there were the Bureau of Concession will have to come in. The responsibility of the Bureau of Concession, Julius, is to ensure that these institutions, these concessionaires that are coming to the country, we have systems, for instance, if you need to put hospital somewhere, hospital clinic, all of the social services that you need to give to the people, they are on course in terms of that. At the locust, the junior employee, the elementary employees in the area, how are they treated? For instance, if they are tappers, are they in good conditions when they're going to tap? What are those materials they need that will enhance the tapping part of the rubber, the latex? right? So all those things we have to send. There was a time we did a tour. I did a tour of the different plantations, the Dusa and beyond Dusa, all of those divisions, deep into the forest, or where Firestone got most of her rubber plantations. You understand then, and they were monetary based on interventions. They had to change some of the housing process. They had to change because those guys would carry, at the time you got a bucket, Julius, two bucket, right? You got somebody using a stick on his shoulders. Walking sometimes, the man would tap the rubber and walk sometimes more than 3 miles to take the rubber to where he would dump the latex at that point. That was unfortunate. You cannot do that. It was another form of slavery. So you needed to remove all of those processes on the people. They have been changed now. What they did now is that they brought most of the stations a little closer. So I think the person should not walk for more than, for even half a mile. A quarter of a mile is enough. You have that different area because it managed to tap 500 trees. And I'm saying this to you because I engage most of those tappers that work for Firestone. If you used to tap on 500 trees in the area, that 500 trees covering the area of close to 2.5 to 3 miles area. So what do you do to set the line where he will convey the latex or the rubber, in other words? So we needed to do some of these things to improve the work condition of our folks. They've been working in a very terrible conditions. They need to improve, right? So I'm one of those individuals, trust me. It's not about politics. And many people will need to understand this line. But in some time, I believe it sucks when people don't understand issues and they want to talk about issue, right? It's the prerogative of everybody. It's the freedom process, right? We give the leverage to people to speak their mind. We respect that thought process about them, right? To the level of people that will even help to teach people as to be their students. No problem on that. People are listening, right? So the baseline is, I come in 1 minute. The baseline is, there are conditions that we push, that we profit before in the society. It's not going to be one. We got to. I don't even know how to define this process, but it's a deep problem we have in the country that it requires a national transformation campaign on this process to see our people improve the land. And I agree with what you just said. How can we move it? I'm tired of hearing about people have been treated terribly in the country that our officials cannot do nothing about it.
Okay, so that brings me to my point, though. After everything you just spoke of, you lay out the entire process, which simply states that there are laws on the book. Okay, it is written and it should be followed. Unfortunately, it is not being followed, but you don't want to agree with me that it is based on incompetence. And when one speaks of incompetence, you're looking at it as though it is based on their inability, based on knowledge to get it going. Let me land now. See, I gave you see, Peabody. I gave you the
agree. No, when you say incompetent, I agree on that.
Okay, so if you agree with me, Peabody, if you agree with me, if you agree with me that it is based on incompetence for which we are not able to liberate, and I want to use the word liberate our people from slavery at the hands of foreigners. You're talking about Indians. You're talking about Lebanese who actually migrated to Liberia, and they are now controlling the our entire economy is controlled by foreigners. If you are to look at the day-to-day activity, today an Indian or Lebanese man will stand up in the streets and distribute food to Liberians, and then he will be awarded some of the highest honor in the country for simply ignoring the reality on ground that you're supposed to respect these people. You were brought here. If you have jobs, create jobs for them, or if you have companies, and if that is not the case, then work to empower them, not to serve as a low conduit for handouts. Unfortunately, they are not doing that. They are purposely using our lawbreakers, as I refer to them, and our politicians to abuse our people of their rights. So how is it that we can sit here and have the conversation of them being competent to get the job done, when of course those who's supposed to be the employer are being victimized. People, you will not hire a Lofa Julius to get a piece of job done for you if Lofa Julius cannot get the job done to your satisfaction. You will fire Lofa Julius in no time. So how is it that we can sit here, labor minister after labor minister, finance minister after finance minister, and we still cannot take our people out of the calamity they find themselves in, where they have to deal with physical abuse and all of these things? And you want to tell me that no, it had nothing to do with incompetence, or
no, Julius,
the laws are in the book? Speak to it. Go ahead.
I didn't say that, and I will never say that. There's a difference here. There's a huge difference between qualification, being qualified to perform a job, and being competent to do said job. Right? So, and I agree, if you are not performing your task as it should be, you are incompetent. You are not competent to do the job. You are incompetent. I agree. I agree to that. Now, here's what I will always say here, and that's why today you can remember in the chat area there was something I added to. I say this implementation to be very successful, we need the president to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the president will have to pay attention. That's one of the process here, because now this will sound very strange in a lot of people. I want to believe many people that are honest into Liberian politics will agree here. To change the bureau, it's not you and myself will change the bureau. The day we won't change, the day you see change hitting our country heavily from the lower line up to the top, that decision will have to start from the president of the country. Only the president of the country can change the country.
You know what, Peewee? I'm going to project you bigger for you to repeat that statement.
Yes,
please
no,
say that again.
it. I have always
no. On a very serious note, I'm not saying it. I'm not trying to just to boost you up here, but that is what I always, Alexander Cummings said something that I remember, and I'll repeat this, right? I'm doing one of his campaign trail, and this is not a quote from Alexander Cummings, but it was just during a campaign trail that he said it, and it reminded me of something. He said, "The fish rots from the head." I'm like, what does this dude know about fish rotting from the head? If you really want to get it done, you must consistently start from the top. Peewee, if you value good labor practice as a precedent, you will make sure that your labor minister values the lives of people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And he also valued what it takes to be a Liberian. And that's why I even mentioned the fact that a lot of our lawmakers or our government officials, their relatives are not in the country.
Yeah, but I said that. I said that. For instance, yesterday the president.
Go ahead. I want. Can you repeat that statement though? I think it's very important. For the sake of our listening audience, repeat that.
I said the only person that can change the system in our country is the chief executive of the Republic of Liberia, the president. The president engaged, and here's what I said. Let's say, for instance, the president toured Firestone Plantation. He said, today I will tour the 3 divisions. Division 44, 27, this and that. The president went to those divisions, and they say, I walk in, take some time to take a stroll in the rubber plantation, see how the rubber tappers are faring. He depart from the fee and move into the division and see how they are living. See, the community are terrible. When the president returned to the executive mansion, the president with 2 things the president going to do. 2 things the president have option to do, I believe. Either suspend the Minister of Labor with immediate effect and the deputy Minister for Labor scandal. Now, because the reason why the minister, he's suspending the minister and dismiss the deputy Minister for Labor scandal with immediate effect. Then you suspend the minister. Now, the reason why he's suspending the minister is because the minister is not carrying his supervision role as the head of the institution. Because if the minister is checking on, because the deputy minister is not for that level. The fact that the deputy minister is not talking to the minister about it, meaning something the deputy minister is doing with people. Because we have deputy minister for labor standard. It is his responsibility, that his job description to ensure that we have labor standard that will be the applicability process, everything that should be applied to that, the function, the operation, and the rest of that. If nothing is happening in terms of the way the folks are faring in those areas, meaning the Deputy Minister for Labor's tenure is incompetent. I will dismiss him as president immediately and suspend the minister at least for a month. You think the next time you appoint the president will not perform the job?
Thank you. So Peewee, though, if you were opportune to serve in the position of the President Joseph Boakai today, listening to this lady's story, and of course other Liberians who called the radio in Liberia, listen, what would be your next course of action?
I will immediately I ask the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. This I will take out the higher level first to write to ArcelorMittal letter at the very senior level to someone with immediate effect. Or I will have to do that via the Ministry of Labor. Okay, to do the standard bureaucratic proceeding, I will instruct my Minister of Labor to write them with immediate effect and go into and probe the matter and do an independent investigation in that matter and report to me in 72 hours. And not even 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 72 hours. Report, because that's a human interest story, right? You need to find out what happened. Engage them. And the next thing you're going to tell ArcelorMittal, that's going to be on the phone. And that's going to be at the higher level. You call the chief executive of ArcelorMittal. Senior chief executive of ArcelorMittal. He is in London, Mr. Mittal. You place the call to him. The first thing you're doing to him is telling him is to seek the interests of your citizen. That may have to go to the hospital and start seeking the best medical treatment first for him while they're going through the process. If the report established, the investigation established that the company is liable, they calculate all the damages. We do the same thing we're going to do here. If nothing that you can have, you cannot make the man to see, God forbid, the man can still see, he will see. If he cannot see no more, you calculate the damage. Because the man not working again, how you take care of his family? You got to calculate those things. And you show that that is given to the company. And then you begin the process of investigating now what caused this thing to the man. You work to prevent it so that it cannot happen to any of your citizens or any of the employee of ArcelorMittal.
Do you think President Boakai is capable of doing that?
I think he's capable of doing that.
Will he do it?
Most of those things can come to the attention of the president. That's why we need those people.
Whoa. People, hold on 1 second. No. So on one of the biggest platforms right now in Liberia,
I'm coming, Judah. Will you give me some time, please?
All right, go ahead. All right, I'll give you all the time in the world. Speak to the people.
Julius, do you know the reason why our presidents in the history of the country appoint all these government officials? Because the president cannot be all over at the same time. It's the reason why the president appoint. The Constitution provides the president will appoint. Article 54 of our Constitution says the president will appoint all the government officials we have in the country. And it didn't stop there. Then Article 56 went on. It says that all of those the president appoint, they serve at the will and pleasure of the president. And that's why I came on. I said, only the president can change anything in the country.
And that's the question. I'm not doubting any of those things you just stated. My only question here to you is, will he act?
And that's how I'm coming. You didn't permit me to.
You're on one of the biggest platforms, accept it or not. You know, in Liberia and in the diaspora, when it comes to discussing political issues, good governance, and so forth. But here's the reality, though. I'm pretty sure government officials listen to this platform, but they are just dormant to the reality and they refuse to act. Do you think listening to the cry of that lady, listening to the cries of other Liberians on this platform, do you think President Boakai will act accordingly so that it can draw the attention of the rest of the other companies that are coming to Liberia?
Yes, I think the reason why I said
labor practice.
Yeah, the reason why I say I think so. I've interacted with the president before. I'm known him to be someone's a family person, and that's the reason why I'm saying this. If the president is informed of this process, and that's one part of the reason, it's not part of our responsibility to discuss it on this platform and to reach out to other folks. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not someone that I believe in. That he's like a mentor to me. He got some relationship with. He did some work before with ArcelorMittal and the rest of that. I will reach out to him to see and get some of the story and help to push this process forward. We will reach out to people that are close to the president also to remind them on this issue, and then public. But if the president is listening now, or he will follow this process, or hear this woman on any other platform, trust me, the president is going to take key interest in that process, and he's going to directly intervene. Now, remember, the Arsenal chief was just in Liberia some months ago. I believe the president listened to this process or hear about this issue. He's going to intervene. Julius, I'm saying something that I know, right? We may say all our things politically sometimes in some cases, but this president is a family-oriented man, and I believe if he were to hear this is a family man that is running blind or almost blind, if not. I don't know his current condition, so I don't want to be definitive on my description, right? But here's what I would say, and I listened to his wife.
We would take his wife. We'll take his wife words for it, though. He's blind.
Okay, this man. Okay, that's what I didn't want to
legally blind.
Okay, that's what I wanted to say, right? Listening to the wife, and that's what I said. It's terrifying. Listen, for instance, Julius, just sit there and do this, and just do like this. You just it's imagine that for just few seconds, right? So I know, but if this person pushed into this process, I want to believe he can do. And here's what I want to say: this process, and that's the reason why I say the president is the only person that can do things in our country. Because if the president appointed the minister too, I mean that's the whole situation here. And in other countries, like in the West and other areas, in other countries, when they appoint, they perform the fiduciary responsibility. They perform the responsibility assigned to them by their bosses, which of course is the head of the country. But that normally don't happen in most instances in our country. At the level of the Ministry of Labor, people would just sign work permit just because somebody came and paying the money for that work permit. Yes. Okay. This Indian company is bringing 10 Indian boys. They come to the first kind of job. What's the thing? What is assistant minister for labor standard? This and that happening. The deputy minister for this. The only thing they want to do now, Judah, the only thing I want to find out, they're taking the Sunday. How many person come in time? Now they're going to pay that money to the government, but the problem there is the signature fees for each work permit. Signature fee for some of the work permit, depending on the position, right? It will be the how many thousand or so. But the signature fee for each of those things, I mean, you gotta get my signature fee. Or the group, they get signature fee. He just signed. He gotta have to do about. If that man comes to take a job, like
you know what, Peewee, man. Every time I
never wonder. You gotta know about it, right?
Peewee, no, to be honest with you, and I agree with you. And I've always said to myself, I want nothing to do with working in government or anything. I just want a transformed country. But when I hear some of these stories, now I feel like even though my background is in IT and information technology, I feel like, God, please give me the opportunity to go serve as a labor minister. Let me just get paid back. I swear to God. Anyway, let's close the argument and go, man. We gotta go.
Yeah, no, honestly, I know. If we find people to really get the job done, I want the institution in the country I need us to have someone that is like this. Right? Because if he did that, what is going to happen? It's going to improve. Now, do you know that there was a time I raised that development in the country, and they took action. They took action. According to what the ministry, I did that. Many people don't know the history we have. Listen, comrade, we have the history to advocate for the people. There was around Clara time. There was a store, and then Leonie guy took something and threw it at one of the employees. The guy cut the whole place there. I went out there, the guy bleeding in the store. Wow. Yeah. Then he blasted the guy to go watch the place. So I think the guy to go watch his face to come out. When I noticed it, I went in that time. I was very active in advocacy in the country. Yeah. We raised most of those things. And we raised that thing kind of the arrested him, Calvin token. The government library reported they were deporting him because that thing went wild. I called because we were very popular in the media. Called the media lifted that story. Right? The government said they were going to deport him. They dismissed him. The people that brought him dismissed him with immediate effect because it was terrible. Right? And daily in the Bureau, we have more than 50 of those things that happen every day to our comrade brothers and sisters that are working for those Laonian Indian guys. Right? To the extent that then some of them do those things, and they pay some of them a month, some of them pay some of them $50 every month. They probably pushing it, knock out to $100 now. It's stuck to $100 because they talk about the minimum wage and other things. Shouldn't be $5 or so. Minimum wage $5, so now 100. So the higher you see most of the boys working in those stores, that working in the stores, or those are mothers, sisters that are working with them as in the house care, as nurses in their homes and what taking care of their kids, cleaning their house, washing their clothes, cooking their food and other things. The higher they will pay them will be $150, $125 US a month.
Thank you, Pee. I mean,
so it's quite unfortunate. It's not that we come here every day we want to back. No, these are things we talked about before. It's serious. It's not only something that is serious. It is serious. And the abuse process is there. So the only way we can do it, we need a very tough minister of labor. Right? To go in there and for instance, someone that I would think is just like, I mean, it's been happening before. And there was a time people thought, how to call him, Samuel Kofi Wooden, they were lawyer, they were tough. When they serve a minister of labor, those things still happen in Liberia.
Exactly. So hey, man, you know what, Pee Wee?
Councilor
I gotta go pick my daughter. I gotta go pick my daughter up.
Yeah.
Good, man. I mean,
tomorrow we'll be on the show.
We'll be on the show tomorrow, and we will start from where we stopped tonight.
It's quite unfortunate. It's a kind of issue that we need to really build serious alliance on in getting, because one of the areas we treat it, because if the people happy, my brother, then everybody will be happy. We can have some people joining, rest of the bulk of the people struggling and men go to work on a stressful condition who they pay 9 months, you ready, you treating your kind of level, kind of like, I know they can talk to them, man. So it's unfortunate. But anyway,
thanks for coming on to chime in on the discussion, man. It was great. We'll be back here again tomorrow, folks.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good night.
Yeah. So guys, for those of you that are following from far and near, it was definitely an honor and a pleasure to serve in this capacity, bringing you the voice of the people, and of course, the contribution from all spectrums, regardless of how you see it and how you view the opinion or positions of each of our panelists. It is again a civil. Are you trying to make me listen to you? Yeah, no. Pee Wee, again, guys, remember, Pee Wee, he made it clear that again, he's from a political background. It takes one to bring one, still bend still, right? It's not the right statement. It's not that Pee Wee is not concerned about the livelihood of the people or the well-being, but when it is often seen and heard that he's engaged with people from the same mindset, political, then he cannot cowered into what is expected. So at the end of the day, again, he got to come out as a politician. Again, he did political science. You can't beat the man. So that's the reason why he went to school. He did political science. The reason why a lot of these people would do political science is because they want to understand the ins and out and how to navigate the issues. So I will give it to him to some extent. You will not like it, but I think it is upon us, those of us who sit on the platform, to counter these arguments and hopefully punch holes in those arguments to tell the people, okay, why it is true that what you're stating could be right, but what about this aspect of it? Because I'm coming at it from a humanitarian perspective, as an advocate, as an activist. I'm looking at it in the perspective, or from the perspective of being a victim. How can we look at it? And then I think we can find a common ground. Tonight, we found a common ground that Pee Wee is saying to all of us that, look, yeah, I agree that we need to reinforce the labor law, and we need to make sure that people who serve in that position are people with character, good reputation, integrity, people with moral and ethics who understands why they were hired to represent the interests of the masses. And I think that's just what it is. Thank you all, folks. We appreciate you for being a part of today's conversation. It is unfortunate that I had to serve as your host in your humble seven. Fix It Electronic, thank you as well. Cadet Williams, thank you. Cecil Colley, thank you. Kelvin Morris Johnson, I hash Billis, is that Ahash, thank you. Chelsea, thank you, Miss Beautiful. Great to have you on here. Thank you for being with us. I will go to sleep. Definitely, I'm not here to stay the rest of the time. But guys, I want to be very grateful that you all took upon yourselves to stay with us, enjoy the conversation, and hopefully tomorrow we will start from where we stopped. Thank you for being a part of the Closing Argument Special Edition. It was an honor. As your host tonight, your humble seven, Lofa Julius, I come to you live from the People City of Raleigh, the state of North Carolina. You all have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful night. I'm out. Peace.